What's up, everybody? This is NorbCam coming at you with another Roundtable here on the NorbCam channel. Thank you for joining us here for what's going to be a very interesting show. I'm very excited because we have some new members on the panel here that have never been here before, and we have some familiar faces, and, you know, we are kind of taking this route, as you can see, Roundtable Q&A. We are really not having any kind of an agenda here because I'm letting you guys determine the direction of this show. We're going to be taking your questions in the chat, also in the Discord, which I put the link up in the description if you want to submit your questions in the Ask the Roundtable text channel, and we're going to be kind of just following what you guys want to hear from us. It's a little bit of a get to know the panel situation here. So we're going to have some fun for the next hour and a half, and we are going to be doing some trivia at the end. We haven't done this in a long time, so I'm excited about this. It's courtesy of Sky-High Aviation, put together a really nice trivia, and we're going to find out how intelligent and smart these guests actually are. But let's bring them on right here. It is the NorbCam Roundtable here on this Wednesday. Yo, here we go. Let's introduce everybody. From the top, we've got Steezy A. Smith. Steez, it's good to see you again, man.
What's going on, y'all? How's everyone feeling?
Oh, man, I'm excited, man. Congratulations. You've been really blowing it up on your channel, man. I know you hit 2,000 subs and growing, and your last couple of videos, you had that one that's close to 10K. Doing great, man. So I'm happy for your success, man. It's fantastic. So glad to have Steezy A. Smith on here. And, of course, from 710 ESPN Sports Radio, also at Gallant Says, Paul Gallant of 710 ESPN for the second time on the Roundtable. Man, thanks for carving some time out of your day to join us, man.
Honored to join you guys. How are y'all now? And really excited for this, especially the trivia side of things. Do we get neat prizes?
You get the awesome prize of being able to say, I won the NorbCam trivia.
Well, that's enough for me.
Bragging rights. We can see if you're up to the challenge here. All right, let's continue around the horn. On the top right, we've got Squabo Says Noah Boelter. Squabo, it's good to hear from you, man. All the way to the Palouse at the Washington. Sorry, named the better school of Washington State University. Just kidding. Had to do it. You know, it's a Coug Husky thing. Squabo, how you doing, man? It's good to see you again.
It's going good. P-Town's a little bit like a ghost town right now. Everyone's gone for the summer, but, you know, I'm still having fun out here. The weather's nice. It's sunny. So I'm having fun.
All right, very good. A couple of glitches on the audio. Hopefully that'll clean itself up. But we're getting our way around there here. So working our way down. First time on the show, but not an unfamiliar face as far as I'm concerned. On the far bottom right, that is Mr. Mike Lorrain. You may know him as 80s Broncos fan. I know him as a good friend of mine who I've known since the 90s. And we started our business, Quantum Productions, since 1996. We've been in business for 25 years. So this dude I've known for a long time. And first time being on the show. I was like, it's about time to have Mike, 80s Broncos fan, on here. So, Mike, it's great to have you here.
Thanks for asking me to be on the show. It's great to be here. I know we've talked about me being on the show as my 80s Broncos fan character, but he would have to talk like this for over an hour and a half. And I
know. That's really hard because if I had to do this for an hour and a half, I'd have to get plastic surgery because I can't hold this for like 30 seconds. So, yeah, I understand where you're coming from.
But
it's good to have you on here, man.
Boring, regular voice today.
You'd be boring Mike today. Not 80s Broncos fan, but boring Mike. That's okay, you know. You're entitled to that as well. So, and you do have your YouTube channel. Everybody's got their YouTube channels. Check their links in the description and their links to their social media. Mike, as you can see, he's got pinball in the background. This dude is the biggest 80s fan around, and he's got pinball machines in his and there's a little sample of one of the 5-minute gaming with Mike shows
you can go see.
That's right.
Might see Norb over there. You can. I have other guests. David Thiel. You can meet David Thiel. He worked on Qbert, and I encourage you to maybe check out me rapping with Donkey Kong.
Oh yeah,
which
Mike
seems to
rapping.
be very popular.
That's something you don't see every day, Mike rapping. But yeah, so make sure you check out everybody's channels when you get a chance to, and subscribe and follow these guys. Okay, last but certainly not least, I've known this guy almost as long as I've known Mike, and Coach Marsh has known the two of us for the same amount of time. Coach Bill Marsh of the Coach's Corner on my show, but he's Coach for Life on his channel and his social media. So, Coach Marsh, we did our show yesterday, which was awesome, talking about the breakdowns of what to expect out of the tight ends in the Seahawks Shane Waldron offense next year. But it's great to have you here on the Roundtable, man. Welcome back.
Hey, I was so amped after last night because, I mean, it is such a great time to be a 12. And especially and then you come on this show and you're talking about Donkey Kong. It takes you back to Frogger, Defender, Tron. You got Paul on, who, I love listening to what he does. You got the Young Bucks also that are doing their thing. So, man, this is awesome. Like, I love being a 12 right now. I love what we're doing. So thanks for continually having me on. It's great.
Absolutely, man. So, again, for this show, I really want this to be kind of a loose, everybody don't have to wait and take your turns, but I do want to have kind of like rapid fire stuff, because I might ask a question which might be a one word answer, and then we move on. Something might be a little more deeper with some deeper analysis, but this is kind of a chance that, like on, Paul on 17 ESPN claims to have the most interactive sports show in Seattle. And, I don't know if that's taking everything into consideration, but...
Not cool, but no, that's actually fun. I like this. This is going to be random and weird.
I have a message for Paul. So, Paul, my wife Cynthia listens to you religiously every day. She loves the Seahawks, and she tells me that on your show, a lot of people razz you for not being very funny. And she wanted me to tell you that she thinks you are hilarious. So please just keep doing what you're doing.
All right, I appreciate that. I mean, it's mainly, sadly, it's not my fans as much as it's the actual boss man himself. I had a nice little sit down with him. He's like, "No, Paul, we like it when you're smart. When you're funny." And I was like, "Oh, okay. Well, try my best to be smart then." But anywho, I appreciate that very much.
Okay, well, my wife really, really loves listening to your show, and she's from Houston like you, and she is a huge fan of you. So just keep doing what you're doing.
I appreciate that, man.
All right. So, yeah, in fact, I was hoping that she, if she was there, she can pop in and, actually say hi on camera. That would be kind of cool, but that'll be for next time. All right. So, much love to Cynthia, Mike's wife. So, while we're talking about 80s stuff, I'm just throw a couple of appetizer thoughts out here. So we're talking about games. Just around the horn. What's your favorite video game? If you had to take them all down and you can only play one for the rest of your life, what game are you playing? Steezy.
This one's easy. NBA 2K. I won a lot of money. I played hours on end. This one's easy. I gotta say NBA 2K.
All right, good one. How about you, Squabo?
2K is up there, but I'm a Madden player for sure. I won a couple games in my day. I've lost a couple as well, but I love to get down on the gridiron.
Mr. Gallant, how about you? What game is of your choice?
Oh, there's two. Now, ironically, I just got this game, paid way too much money for it because not in existence anymore. There's a little game called NCAA football from back in the day that sadly is no longer being used. It takes advantage of athletes who aren't making any money. That's another conversation. So, sports video game, the NCAA football video game franchise. It's a shame that game does not exist anymore. But if you really want to talk about the nerdiest part of my life, I can't tell you how many hours that I have dumped into the video game franchise known as The Elder Scrolls. I do not know why I love the game as much as I do, but man, that game is addictive, and I once played that game for 16 hours straight, and I was an adult. So,
now, Mike, you're kind of like my 80s and old school. Are you familiar with Elder Scrolls, Mike?
Oh yeah, I am.
Okay. Yeah. Oh yeah. Now, is that your favorite, Mike? Is that your favorite game, or do you have something else? Like Mike plays a lot of games. He has this whole gaming channel that talks about all types of different games. But if you had to choose one, and I don't think I've even asked you this, what one game would you be okay with playing for the rest of your life and have to say goodbye to the rest of them?
It's a tricky question because if you said, what's your favorite game, I'd say Donkey Kong, but I'm not going to take Donkey Kong to the island with me because that's not going to last very long. So therefore, I would take the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim with me because that is the best RPG ever made. And I have played so many hours of that game, and even though I don't play it now, whenever I go back, it's like visiting an old friend. And it just doesn't get any better than that. So I would want to spend the rest of my time in Skyrim on that island, hands down.
Wow. So you and Paul and Cynthia should go get on a deserted island together and play that game for the rest of eternity. Coach.
Well, Paul and I would play. I don't think Cynthia would be playing.
She could learn. If you're stuck in a desert island, that's the only form of entertainment, she'll learn. Especially if Paul's playing, because she'll make her laugh at the same time. All right. So, Coach Marsh, how about you? What game is on the menu for your choice here, man?
Well, to me, the greatest sports game is Tecmo Bowl, and I actually ran tournaments back at the zoo, back in Pullman, for our floors and everything else. I love Tecmo Bowl. That said, I would take the original Star Wars, the first one that you got to sit down in, where at the very end the beams shoot out and it goes into the thing.
Oh yeah, with the little controller, right?
Oh man! Right? When I was in South Carolina, that game was there. I hadn't seen it in probably 30 years. I was one of those dorks that I spent 25 cents a million times at Mickey's, not Mickey's Wide Mouth Squabble, but Mickey's the arcade down in South Seattle. I loved playing Star Wars, and then when Tecmo Bowl came out, we did a boatload of Tecmo Bowl. But yeah, I would take the Star Wars game with me. Love sitting there playing that.
Well, man, you should probably, next time you come over to my house, you can play it to your heart's content, because I have the stand-up version of that here. It's not the sit-down. It's not as cool as the sit-down, but, you don't even have to bring any quarters unless you just want to donate to me. So, but yeah, come over and we'll play some Star Wars. I'll get your Star Wars fix right here, man. So it's pretty cool.
One thing that's great about Star Wars game is that digitized audio.
Get rid from Kennyberry.
Yeah, right in your ears and everything. Yeah. Kind of like the Donkey Kong.
All right, those are all good choices, man. So, all right, so let's go to some of the questions I had kind of in my back pocket. I'm going to go a little bit more Seahawks related here. I'm going to start big, broad picture here. Are the Seahawks Super Bowl contenders? Why or why not? Let's start, Steezy. You can start it rolling, and we'll just I'll jump in on the debate here. Steezy, get us rolling.
I got to go with yeah. I mean, anytime you have a top 5 quarterback, in the NFL, you always have a chance. Hence, all these seasons over 500, never below 500 with Russ at the helm. And I just think that alone gives us this high ceiling. And you combine that with the fact that DK, hopefully he improves even further going into year 3. There's even more chemistry with Jamal Adams and the rest of the defense. We were 7th in the NFL last year in sacks, despite not having Jamal for 4 games. With Terrell Taylor wasn't there at all. And so we expect a whole lot of improvement on the defensive side of the ball. But on offense, if we were to get maybe not 100% of what we had first 6-7 weeks when Russ was cooking, if we can have at least 80 to 85% of that offense combined with 80 to 85% of the defense that they displayed in the second half of last year, I mean, easily, especially coming out of the NFC, there's concerns with the Green Bay Packers. We don't know if Aaron Rodgers is coming back. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers obviously are the biggest threat in the NFC, but I just don't see too many threats in the NFC. And so if you want to talk about a path to the Super Bowl, I think, Seattle has it a little easier than some of the teams in the AFC, where I think there's a lot more talent. There's a lot more teams that are competing for the top spot. But, I mean, look, top 5 quarterback, maybe top 10 receiver in DK, still one of the game's best linebackers. In terms of talent, we have it. And so hopefully things gel with Shane Waldron. But I think as of right now, we're Super Bowl contenders.
All right, so I want to hear right off from somebody who doesn't think Seattle's got what it takes to make it to the Super Bowl. Who's not picking them to go? Come on.
So I'm gonna jump out there.
I knew you'd be the first one. I knew you'd be the first one.
Well, because I'm an honest 12. I think I'm an honest 12. I bleed the Seahawks, right? But everybody's gonna rip me a new one because I just questioned a few different things. Because the parity is so right there, right? And it only takes that one. Hey, we want the ball and we're going to score pick 6 season over, or it's just you got to be healthy, and there's those little things that take place. You just got to have that lucky run, right? So, I don't know that we're right there at Super Bowl contender. Mainly, put all that aside, because we have to format this new offense. As hyped as I am for it, as amped as I am for it, it really has to blend, and Russell has to really, really, really buy into it, and he's got to buy into it right away. Because if he doesn't buy into it right away, everybody else won't. And I think that poses a problem. Home field advantage is crucial, like always. But I think for our team, you got to have it. So,
all right. So if you're not picking necessarily Seattle, who are you picking?
Well, it's easy to go with chalk. So, I mean, it's hard, I think Tampa Bay's up there. I think if Rodgers returns to Green Bay, which I don't think is going to happen, but if he did, I think Green Bay's definitely up there. I don't know that anybody – I think our division is going to beat each other up, so I honestly don't think it's going to come out of our division. I think it's going to be probably one of those two, maybe a chalk team that slips through there on that side. I don't think it'll be – I don't think it'll be an AFC team. I think the NFC is poised to make a run for the next few years.
Paul, I saw your eyebrows get raised early up there in that statement by Coach Marsh. What's your take?
Paul, this is your chance to be funny. This is your chance to be really funny. Your boss is in the super chat.
Oh no, so much pressure. Well, I mean, the slightest movement with these things, I think you can notice because they're like massive. Are
those 3D?
You could maybe
just
look at that. I think what Steezy said is correct. Like, as long as they have a quarterback, I mean, the team could be worse than it is right now. I think you always have to say they're a contender. I guess you could specify a little bit more and ask, are they a legitimate contender? Are they on the same level as the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with the pass rush that Tampa Bay still has and returning all 22 of their starters? We'll see how Tom Brady does down the stretch. He's another year older. Are they on the same level as the Green Bay Packers? Maybe not now, but they could be in a couple of weeks, depending on what happens with the Aaron Rodgers situation. I look at the NFC West, I think the biggest obstacle is the 49ers. I know the Rams are always difficult and that they have a better quarterback now that should make it a little bit more difficult. To say, though, that they're not a contender, I can't. I feel like they are in the mix, and I think, as you just said, it is all about, can you get hot at the right time, and can that offense by the end of the season get going? Beginning of the season, there's going to probably be some growing pains. But the big thing that you want to do, and Tampa Bay proved it last year, they were 7-5, and no one was thinking about them as a serious contender as we entered the last month of the year. People were wondering whether or not Tom Brady still had his wits about him, seeing as he forgot what down it was in that game against the Chicago Bears on Thursday night. And, so as long as you can close the season out strong, that's the most important thing. I can't rule out the Seahawks doing that because in the past, maybe not the last couple of years, but in the past, it's been something they've been really good at.
Let me ask you this, Paul, and anyone else can answer this too. Are you concerned? We've talked so much about the offensive lately. It was Russ getting frustrated. Then we took care of a bunch of things, and who knows if he's happy or not. And I don't really care about that side of things, other than it looked like we took care of as much as we probably could at this point. We haven't talked much about defense. No. That to me is even the bigger concern. Like, everybody's amped about the offense, but it's not going to help. We're giving up 28 to 30 points a game, even though I think our offense can score 28 to 31 with the new offense. Special teams, solid. Especially with Vinatieri retiring after 24 years. Had to plug that one in as a special teams guy. So I'm not worried about our special teams. I think offense can come along. It's really the defense that was Jekyll and Hyde as well that I don't know that is strong.
Right. They went up against a pretty easy schedule of quarterbacks down the stretch. They could argue Jared Goff was the best quarterback they played over this last couple of weeks. So I think there are definitely some questions about the defense. The great part about having a quarterback like Russ is you can mask a lot of those things. It's just a matter of when you're playing these real teams that are on your level, you can't hide them all with just a quarterback. So I'm with you. I think the defense is just as much of a question. I feel like I'm talking too much. Other people talk.
No, Steezy, man. Steezy, it's probably, you guys are the biggest homers. Like, is Russell enough? Like, I know you guys are like, we can handle it. We can cover enough with Russ.
I don't think we can. Steezy always, he's the one who stays real quiet. And you think he doesn't have much to say, and then he's just going to unload a bunch of spitting facts on you. So I'm waiting for some fact spitting. Tell me you got some.
Okay, real fast before squad goes, I do want to just say I think the biggest issue on offense has already been addressed with the hiring of Shane Waldron. I get it. There's going to be growing pains at the beginning of the season. Guys are going to have to adapt. And then now with veterans not really taking part in OTAs, there are some concerns there. But the biggest concern was sacks, or taking far too many of them. Just Shane Waldron coming in alone, I think he helps in that regard. I think we're not going to see Russ taking 50-plus sacks, maybe not something in the high 40s, maybe something in the late 30s, early 40s. That'd be, I don't know about acceptable, but that'd be a little better. And so We've addressed the offensive line with Gabe Jackson, him coming in, another pass protecting guy in Stone Forsyth. I don't know if he starts, but he is a guy that specializes in pass protection. Gabe Jackson, while he has been on the decline the last couple of seasons, he's an upgrade, a massive upgrade over Mikey Potty. So we have those two additions. Shane Waldron, he's going to install more quick plays. Russ is going to get rid of the football a lot quicker. He's not going to take as many sacks. He's already talked about how he's to blame for some of the sacks that he takes, and so hopefully he takes it a step further by actually doing that on the football field. And so when you look at it from that perspective, offensive line should be improved. We had a lack of weapons behind Deke and Tyler. I think that's been an area of focus this offseason with Gerald Everett coming in, Dwayne Eskridge in the second round. A lot of people were looking at it as a reach, but I think he's a perfect wide receiver 3, especially for the system. Shane Waldron is going to use a lot of 3 wide receiver sets. Kay Johnson, Tamorion Terry, undrafted guys. And so I really don't see too many weaknesses on offense. Besides the fact that, it's going to take time to master the offense. But aside from that, yes, the defense, there are going to be issues. We don't know about the secondary. The guys could be a little shaky. I don't know if Akilla Weatherspoon's going to stay healthy. Trey Brown, he's a little undersized. We don't know how he's going to stack up against NFL receivers. But look at our pass rush. I think our pass rush is super deep, and that alone is going to mask some of the deficiencies in the secondary. We have dogs at linebacker. Obviously, Bob Wagner is going to keep doing his thing. Jordan Burke showed a lot of promise towards the end of last season. Darrell Taylor, we don't know what he's going to bring to the table, but the Seahawks have very high hopes for him. There's a reason why KJ Wright hasn't been signed. And so, I mean, yeah, there are a lot of question marks with the defense, but I just think that with more time to gel, Jamal Adams is going to have a full offseason. Carlos Dunlap's going to have a full offseason. I mean, I have high hopes for the defense. Maybe not top 5, maybe not even top 10, but anything inside of, at least top 16, I think that'd be acceptable because I think our offense has the potential to be a top 5 offense in the NFL.
Man, all right. What more left to say? I'm still waiting for Squabbo's argument here, and Mike too to add.
Video? I feel like I just watched one of Stevie's videos right there, man. That was awesome.
I just copied it and pasted it, and I snuck it in there real quick. It's actually his other video that he broke down from before. No, it's good stuff. Steezy knows his stuff. So does Squabbo though. So I'm waiting for something to come out of Squabbo's mouth here. Come on, man.
Well, when you talk, first of all, I'd like to say that everyone that said the Seahawks are contenders are 100% correct. Not only did we win our division last year, when you talk about, where you start in the game of football, you ask the best GMs around the NFL, around college, okay, you're building a team, you want to be successful, you want to contend for a Super Bowl, what do you have to do first? First, you got to get a quarterback. Then it's either protect your quarterback or get at the other team's quarterback. Either way, they might be interchangeable. That is number 2 and 3 on your list. All 3 of those things, if we haven't already addressed them, we're addressed this offseason. Obviously, we have the quarterback with Russell Wilson. We addressed that by keeping him happy. I'm in a relationship right now, and I'll tell you this, every relationship, my woman is perfect, she's beautiful, everything about her, I love everything about her, right? But every relationship is going to have arguments. When you are on good terms with your partner and you are in public and you see another couple arguing in public in front of everyone, don't you hug your partner a little bit closer and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad that that's not us right now. Like, that could be us, but, we're not arguing, and we're definitely not doing it in public right now. That's what Seattle, Russell Wilson, and Pete Carroll are doing, watching the Aaron Rodgers situation in Green Bay unfold. That is a breakup in the midst of happening right now, and it's happening all over the news, all over ESPN, in the middle of the draft. It's making a scene, and right now, that happening is bringing Seattle even closer. Not only have we done everything that Russell Wilson has wanted, the fact that we're seeing another breakup happen is making us appreciate each other even more. We brought in Gabe Jackson on our offensive line. Damian Lewis struggled at right guard. Well, now he's going to be at left guard. And instead of being next to Brandon Shell, he's going to be next to Dwayne Brown on the left side of the offensive line. That's going to be a huge discrepancy in terms of, the amount of football knowledge that they just bring to the table and how they can help him out. We have Gabe Jackson now on the right side of that offensive line. Our pass rush, you talk about Carlos Dunlap, Benson Mayowa, Jamal Adams, Kerry Hyder Jr. Those 4 guys last year for 30 sacks just by themselves. Those 4 individuals alone. That's more than 10 NFL teams. That's what kind of pass rush we're bringing to the table this year. Our offensive line has improved. Our defensive line has improved. Our quarterback is now happier than he's ever been with Seattle.
Wow, that's pretty compelling stuff there.
If Mike's got something, but I've definitely got a few things to I got some responsorials.
Well, so you know, Mike knows more about football than any of you guys do. And so I'm just kidding. Mike is,
He's been around football.
Oh, he knows football.
His dad was a longtime coach. Yeah, he knows his football.
Oh yeah, he doesn't eat it and drink it and sleep it as much as some of these guys do. But I'm curious to hear Mike's, as a '80s Broncos fan from the day, and now converted Seahawks fan. What's your take on? What do you think? And your wife, that we talked about earlier, she's a huge sports fan, so I'm sure she rubs off on you in terms of what her knowledge is. What's your take on Seahawks? Are they going to win the Super Bowl in your opinion, Mike Lorrain?
Well, so to start with, while you guys every day are reading your Seahawks news, I am reading video game news. For instance, The Last of Us 2, it was just announced this week that they provided 60 frame per second support on a PlayStation 5. That was a big deal. My son Brett, who runs the NorbCam Discord channel, came downstairs just to tell me that. And then I can't wait for Horizon Forbidden West to finally get a release date later this year. And with that, I do know a little bit about the Seahawks and the Broncos. So that was more of just trying to be funny like Paul. So I am aware that Aaron Rodgers might play for Denver, and I know that's still not sure, but that could be a pretty big deal if Aaron plays with the Broncos. And this is what I will say. If Aaron joins the Broncos and the Broncos decide to go back to their 80s uniforms, including the D on the helmet with the Bronco coming out of it, I think they're going to win the Super Bowl. But if they don't go back to the 80s uniforms, even with Aaron Rodgers coming to Denver, I still think the Hawks are gonna do better. Now, can the Hawks make it to the Super Bowl? It's possible. I'm gonna do the possible response. I cannot say for sure, but I think anything is possible when it comes to the NFL season. So besides that, it's gonna come down to who they can put together to be around Russell and all the things Bill Marsh is going to just tell you right now.
so you're committing to not committing to an answer in that regard. But what's interesting though is that if Coach, I'm going to let you say your thing in a second here. But it's interesting because you said the Broncos could be going to the Super Bowl if they get Aaron Rodgers, and you're saying the Seahawks strong possibility. That means we could have a repeat of Super Bowl 48, Broncos Seahawks. With Aaron Rodgers at the helm. How interesting would that be? I don't know if I want that, but it sure would be a sexy matchup. Coach Marsh.
I can segue that. Yeah, because if the Broncos wear their 80s uniform, that means in the second quarter of that Super Bowl, they're going to give up 35 points. And in another quarter, they're going to be, they were awful in the Super Bowls in those old 80s uniforms. I'm sorry, Bronco Mike. Now, Bronco Mike, or old 80s Bronco Mike. If they get the 60 GP whatever for the graphics for the gaming, is that equivalent to 1.21 gigawatts so that Norb won't throw late interceptions in Madden because he'll be able to have Nick LeBeau make the call, he'll be able to make the read, and then he won't blame a 14 or 15-year-old kid in his press conferences afterwards. So I'll take that one off the air.
15-year-old kids are way better at any game than me at my age than I'll ever be because they play these games nonstop. So I have no trouble throwing a 15-year-old kid under the bus when it comes to Madden. That's what I'm saying.
I think the frame rate are going to help you because you'll see it quicker. Maybe you're on 29.97 FP something or other. I don't know. So here's my quick hitters.
So when I was
first off, you guys remember Mad Libs? Go ahead, Mike.
I was going to say one quick story, Bill, just to talk about what you're talking about. When I was a student at the UW in 1990, I was a huge Broncos fan. I was a big Broncos fan, and everybody gave me crap because everyone else loved the Seahawks. And so they loved me because they had someone to look at and make fun of. And when the Broncos lost the Super Bowl in 1990, I believe, I remember they plastered all the newspaper articles all over my dorm room door. But the one that took the cake was the caption that said, Broncos couldn't even win Bud Bowl.
So, Bud McKenzie and all those guys too. Oh, that's classic.
It takes you back to college days.
Because I'm not going to say your background and everything else, but you obviously have some tremendous connections in your family, and you've been around the game forever, and even our highlight videos, you knew how to film.
I played football as well. I played football in high school.
Yes. So I know that you're going to shortchange a little bit here, but you know way more than you're claiming to know. That said, here's some things to think about. Do you guys remember Mad Libs, where you fill in the The young bucks might not remember, but you fill in the
Oh
blanks.
yeah, it's basically a story, and they have all certain words left blank, and you just fill in a bunch of words, and they plug it in, and it turns into a funny story. Yeah, but what about them?
Yeah, and back in our day, you could fill in some really funny. Like it was awesome because they kind of pushed the level of it. Now it's super super clean. When I listen to Paul and Steezy and Squabble, but especially Steezy and Squabble, I feel like you could take everything they said, but anywhere where a quarterback, a running back, a defense was said, you could take out the Seahawks part and you could insert Rams, Cardinals, San Francisco, New Orleans, Tampa Bay, Green Bay, and they're all going to say the same thing, right? So that's why I try to be like the honest 12. Like I'm more of a voice of reason. Of course I want them to win. Of course I'm amped about it. Of course I'm amped about the offense. But I also go, gosh, it's great that we got DK and in our defense and our offense. But you could take any other team of those 7, and that's just the NFC. And I think they would also go, we've got the quarterback, we got this, we got that, we got this, we got that, right? So that's it. Here's my other quick hitters. This is for the Super Chat and for you guys as well, but let the Super Chat answer for a second. How many sacks will it take in a game before people are freaking out, before the next day's news or that evening's news comes out that Russell is going to be upset because he was sacked blank times in a game? Because you know it's going to happen. You know there's going to be a game where he gets sacked 2, 3, 4, 5 times, regardless of whether it's his fault or no. And the talk's going to begin. Is just going to be the start of him not coming back. And I think that's that acrimonious thing that could take place, right? That could cause a slide. So that's number 1. Number 2, 2 other quarterbacks have to master a new offense. So that's where I get excited that we do have Russ and a smart guy, because Stafford has to master a new offense. Garoppolo could keep on playing forever. I think he won't ever master that offense. And obviously they got the new buck there. The guy who's mastered his offense the most is down in Arizona, right? So he's the most mastered of his own offense. So I think that's a piece. And I think the Dwayne Brown thing is bigger than most people realize, because you rise to the level of those who are to your left and your right. Like, look at Steezy and Squabble and, those guys. Look how far they've come because of hanging out with you, right? So you always do better when you have someone great around you. So having a Dwayne Brown come in, that's going to lift people up to his level. So those are the 3 quick hitters. The Mad Lib's just kind of a commentary. But the sacks one is the one I'm most interested in, because I think that's an interesting piece. My number would be 3. The first time he sacked 3 times in a game, I think Joe Buck's going to say it. Others are going to say it. You're going to come into a car wash the next morning like, oh, is Russ gone? The next, what's going to happen? What do you think?
It also depends if we win or lose that game. If we lose that game and they get 3 or more sacks, that would be a concern. But let's go around the horn then. Because I see some people in the chat. Robert Jimenez says 5 sacks. Xander G says 4 sacks. So let's go around. Steezy, what numbers are going to be?
It's in a loss.
Okay, we lose, and it's a multi-sack game. When does it become an issue? How many sacks does it have to be, Steezy?
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm being 100% honest, I don't really have a number, because there are going to be games in which, the offensive line is going to struggle, maybe especially at the beginning of the season. And so I get the concern, but I just don't think that's really that big of a deal, just because, like I said, you're going to have a bad game. What if we come into a game where we have injuries and, we go up against a loaded defensive front where we take 7 sacks and people are going to blow that out of proportion? But then, context does matter. And so I guess for me, I hate to be that guy, but I can't really put a number on it, just because I don't think it's going to be that big of a concern.
But I want you to notice what Steezy said. He said there's going to be games where the offensive line is going to struggle. And Steezy, I love you big time, right?
But aren't there going to be games
that Russ is going to struggle, and maybe he's going to cause those 3 or 4 sacks?
That's just my quick thing on that. But then maybe the blame would be towards Russ more so than offensive line. Maybe people will start to look at the fact that, okay, maybe this whole time it's actually Russ. And so, I don't know. It's tough.
Exactly.
I do get what
That's what I wanted to pull out of you. That's what I wanted to pull out of you. That right there. Because I was hoping you'd go there.
It's clearly a little of both on that front. I mean, look, if he loses a game and there's a bunch of sacks, people are going to microscope that thing, and they will call him out for it. He has nowhere to hide anymore. He has put out what he thinks was a big issue with this team, and I guess now all of a sudden he's happy that they added Gabe Jackson. If he does that after a game, and I doubt he would do it actually directly, then, okay, maybe there's a little bit of concern. But this is the thing that's been driving me nuts all off season. There's this idea that Russ is going to be able to force his way out of town. I would just like to know how. And I would actually like to know if Russell Wilson, say he's upset with the offensive line at the end of this next theoretical season, How is he going to get his way out? Because I know for sure someone that has said the word legacy at least 300 times this offseason is no way, there is no way that guy is going to sit out games like Deshaun Watson to do before all that stuff happened with him. He's not going to do what Aaron Rodgers might do. That's just not in his DNA. So, look, he might be unhappy. He's always going to play publicly, though, that good soldier thing. And I feel like, yes, there might be a couple of games where he gets sacked a lot, but I think this is going to be the first time where people actually look at it honestly for what it is, where he is as much to blame at times as the offensive line. Is it 50-50? I don't know. Maybe it's 30-30, and then there's the offensive scheme that was a problem as far as last season went as well. But, I if that happens after one game, I don't think it's going to be the end of the world, because I feel like it really is going to depend on what happens in that game. And I think we all are going to see that there are plenty of games where this guy holds on to the football too long. He's a great quarterback. That is his big flaw. It's what makes him great, but it also is a problem. And as he gets older and older, and as his speed diminishes, and as he stops looking the way that Patrick Mahomes looks like when he escapes the pocket, you are going to see some more sacks. So he's got to...
I feel like you just kind of... Oh, go ahead. Sorry, Paul. Go ahead.
Done.
That's it.
It sounds like you're kind of saying be careful what you ask for. Like Russ asked for all this stuff, and now he's kind of put it out there that regardless of the numbers, that might be your take. Like the following day, that would be your take on it. Like, look, regardless of who did the sacks, like he asked for this, he got the help. He can't be complaining about whatever now. Like it's a non-topic.
Well, you talk about the number thing. I feel like, and Steezy kind of touched on it, the number's not as important. I feel like the number that a lot of people are going to go nuts over is when Russ gets sacked 5 times in a game. They're going to look at that, especially if it's in a loss, and they're going to be like, oh, that's way too many sacks. What happened to fixing our offensive line and that kind of stuff? But that's your very basic level fan. Those of us that have known football and watched football and experienced football know what we're talking about and actually watch the entire games will know of those 5 sacks. Well, if Russell Wilson was abandoning the pocket too early, or if he was holding the ball too long, we will know based on those sacks. There are some sacks where, like against the Rams in years past, where he'll snap the ball and immediately get sacked. That happened against Buffalo. Mm-hmm. That's one of those things where obviously that's not on Russell Wilson. That is on the protection. And that's the type of stuff that if there were 5 of those in one game, yeah, he should be upset because the coaching staff is not doing their job at that point. But it really depends on the context and what kind of sacks are being taken. But Coach Marsh, I think one thing that we're sleeping on and one factor that not a lot of people are talking about, when you ask the question, why are the Seahawks Super Bowl contenders if we are? Because 4 of us are saying that we are, and you're saying that we're not because you're playing devil's advocate and whatnot. But one major reason that we are, that is different this year than what we had last year that nobody is talking about. Last time we won the Super Bowl, the only time we won the Super Bowl, we had brought in free agents that were hungry, and we brought in guys that were role players that are coming from horrible organizations that had struggled, that didn't have the strongest fan base, that didn't have the most fortitude and structure within the organization, to now coming to Seattle where we're competing. Every practice matters. It's one day at a time. We're focused. We're locked in. Everything begins to have more purpose. Michael Bennett came from Tampa Bay, was a major contributor to our Super Bowl run. Cliff Averill came from Detroit. He was part of their no-win season. He comes over to Seattle, and now he has a reason to push the extra mile every single play to come and help Seattle win games. That was a major propelling factor the last time we won a Super Bowl. This past season, we brought in Carlos Dunlap and Jamal Adams, 2 guys that would have had and have had similar impacts, but they haven't even got to experience the 12th man yet. This year, Lumen Field is going to be packed. There are going to be fans cheering on those Seahawks that have yet to experience the 12th man supporting them. And that's going to be a huge deal for these guys. A major propelling factor that they have not yet experienced. You've heard Jamal Adams, Carlos Dunlap last year talking in press conference about how bad they just want that 12th man back on their side. One major difference about coming to Seattle from Cincinnati and from the New York Jets, everyone in the stadium is on the same page. We're all going to cheer you on. Every play counts, and they're going to see what that means this season.
As Devin from the Discord likes to say, we booming in Lumen. So we haven't gotten to experience that yet. That's going to be happening this year when we finally come out of a year of hibernation. The 12s are going to be in full throat like they never heard before. But well said. So I want to redirect this and make it kind of a quick.
Mike didn't get. I want Mike's number. I didn't get Mike's number of.
Well, that's
sacks.
true. Mike didn't get to say the number of sacks.
Mike, I'm usually the guy that Norb forgets. Like I always feel like I'm off the screen sometimes. He goes around. He goes to everybody, and then hey, now for the next thing, I'm like, hey, Am I on the show tonight? It's all right.
Okay, well, Mike, what's your number?
What I will say is I always have found it fascinating, the psychology of football. And I am of the mindset, if you want a number, I'll say two sacks and people start screaming. But I will also say that if you get the win at the end of the game, people forget it. I always like to joke with my wife because she listens to so much talk radio about the Seahawks that if they lose, I come in and say, okay, let's talk about it. We're going to talk about it all day, because she listens to everybody talk. And if they win, everybody's pretty happy. So the psychology of football I find interesting. The W can trump a lot of opinions on the play. And actually what I would like to propose to everyone else, I would like your expert opinion on this, is when I have watched Russell Wilson, what I have been frustrated with is the final clock management that can happen in the last, 3 minutes of the game, where say he's got the ball and they've got to get it down the field 60, 70 yards to get into field goal range. I'm amazed at how many teams can throw quick passes, quick pass to the sideline, stop that clock, move down. And the Seahawks, I have been frustrated. I feel like, and I've said this to you, Norb, why can't they do that quick pass at the end of the game like I see so many other teams do when it comes to Russell?
Well, and I think it's more, and it's more than just the end of the game. There's so many times when the 49ers and the Rams are quick passing us to death all game long, and I'm going, how come we don't do that? But I feel like the answer to that question is what the moves they made this past year with Shane Waldron. I'm putting a lot of stock, and it's awesome. Your fault, Bill, because I've been listening to everything you've been saying on Coach's Corner. I'm a believer in that Shane Waldron is going to convert this team into that team that I hate so much doing to us. We're going to start doing the quick passes that you're saying. So I'm thinking that whatever you're saying we don't do, and what I've been feeling they keep doing to us, is we're going to start doing to everybody else what they were doing to us. So that makes sense.
It's not about verticals. Yeah, the timing's going to work out. It's going to be quick. They're going to get up to the line of scrimmage quicker because you have to read stuff beforehand. You have to do different things. You have to get the motion. So yeah, I think those issues are going to be taken care of. And quite honestly, if I was giving everybody grades on the questions, I mean, everybody's going to get an A to B grade. I think Mike's answer to my question on sacks was by far and away the clear-cut winner, because of the fact that people do forget about things when they win, but as soon as they lose, and Norb, you brought it up many times when we would do our Coach's Corner last year during the season, everything seems fine, and then all of a sudden they lose, and everybody just boom, let's put the microscope on these things. So you're right, Mike. I think it is about, we could have sacks and we win, it's fine, but it'll be that 2-game skid with 2 sacks. But the one game we win with 5 sacks, maybe people don't care so much. So I got Norb.
And then add the word interception after the sack. Interceptions too.
Yeah, all those things, right? We're going to point the blame at different people. But Squabble, I got to ask you real quick, man. Yes, we brought in some free agents and everything else. The big difference, though, is we had an identity. And right now, we will go into game 1 and we won't have an identity. That Super Bowl season, we knew Legion of Boom led us, and we had a running back that we knew what our identity was. Tough as nails, get after you, a bunch of guys that were undrafted and everything else. That just as a team, like when you're saying that the Super Bowl contender thing, we don't have an identity. We don't have an identity. You definitely don't know what our offense identity is yet. And defensively, we don't. What are we? What are we going to be? Are we going to be a blitzing, get after team? You watch Legion of Boom stuff, man, you just have a feel. There's a sense of it. I think that'll be the piece that's a concern. So I'm not debating it. I'm just saying that's a major missing ingredient that maybe the 12s can bring with their energy, but we don't have it yet.
Well, you're going to answer that, but I just wanted to chime in. The thing is, it's hard to have the identity because there's been a lot of change. There's been a lot of changeover, except in some of those key positions. But we know that, DK with the speed, the offense, we just know they're turning over a new page. But the tools, the weapons have only been upgraded. So I feel like this is like a really nice, when they come out with a new car model, that, okay, the old model in 2021 is kind of done, but in 2022, they're bringing up a new, they're going to get a whole new body style. That's what I feel like this is. What we got. It's a really fast fast car with a really nice engine and all this stuff, but it's going to be even better in 2022 because they're going to redesign it. It's going to be even better and faster and more efficient than it was last year. That's how I feel about this Seahawks offense. That's, to me, the identity. It's the unveiling. They pull that curtain off of the car and go, in 2022 or 21, it's the 2021 Seattle Seahawks GT. It's going to be something like that. I'm hoping anyway. So anyway, that's my 2 cents.
Push that analogy further. Push that analogy further real quick. To me, you have to have multiple cars because that to me is the DK. Everybody looks at the Lamborghini and gets all excited. It's like, no, we still need Norb's minivan. Like, you got to have that piece to really make things things work and work efficiently.
A soccer mom.
But in terms of, we get, like, all I ever hear about is DK. Yet we got Tyler Lockett, who right now, I don't care what people say, Tyler Lockett is the best receiver on our team. Flat out, he's the best receiver. DK, I think, will pass him, but Lockett. But again, what is our identity? How's Waldron going to work that in? How's he going to work in Russ as an MVP guy? How's he going to work in? How's our defense going to work? So I think that
Paul's got something to say. Squabble's got something to say. Paul, go ahead. Squabble, I know he directed the question to you, but Paul, you're itching to say something in there. Go ahead.
The word identity, when you have a quarterback like Russell Wilson on offense, does not matter. It doesn't. I've watched Tom Brady for 20 years in New England with an amorphous offense that changed and evolved from year to year to year to year, from week to week to week to week as well. You look at his statistics after the fact, and in a lot of those seasons at first, in a different NFL, this was a guy that wasn't throwing the football to win some games. They were running the football in some of those games to win. I feel like if you have a quarterback like Russell Wilson...
You're talking about Brady.
I was talking about Brady right there. Yeah, if you have a guy like Russell Wilson, your offensive identity should be able to change week to week, week to week, week to week. As someone who covered Gary Kubiak with the Houston Texans, it drove me crazy that they just ran the same thing every single week, offensively, defensively. It did work in some facets, but this going back to an identity, eventually somebody's going to be able to crack you. And maybe that's why the Seahawks in the first half of last season looked one way, second half of the season looked another way. That identity didn't evolve week to week, game to game. That's something that you have as a luxury with Russell Wilson, and that's what I'm hoping to see from Shane Waldron. I don't want to commit to one thing. I want to be able to be whatever I want, a chameleon. And I'm hoping that Waldron, having been with New England for a little bit of time, is actually going to incorporate some of that in addition to some of these things from the Los Angeles Rams that he's going to bring to the table.
Well, so I want to make sure that it's really clear what I'm saying. Identity to me is not the specific type of offense. I'm talking more in terms of personality and scope. So think more in terms of the face of the program, the heart of the team, the soul of the team. I don't think we have ever, in the history of Russell Wilson being here, would ever say that he was the heart of the team or the soul of the team. I still don't even now think that he's the heart of the team or the soul of the team. We knew that Marshawn Lynch he was the heart of that team at that time. The soul of the team was the Legion of Boom. And every year as a coach, man, I always try to make sure I had that identity piece for our guys. Like man, we got to make sure we got a guy who's the heart of the team and the soul of the team. DK, I think, will become that offensive thing. I actually think that our new tight end that I talked about last night could become it, but it's going to take him a while to get that. Adams becomes it on defense. But you wouldn't say Russell Wilson. Tom Brady, heart and soul of his teams, and their identity is through Bill Belichick. So I think that's it. So I just want to make sure that's clear, though. I think offensively we're going to run all sorts of crazy cool stuff that's going to be awesome. I just don't know what our identity is. Like, who is the heart of our team? Who's the soul of our team that we all go, yeah, that is who we are. It's the 12s. Like the 12s are the heart right now. Yeah, I agree. I think Jamal Adams, second year, I think he's absolutely the soul of the team.
If you're talking about defense and you're talking about what identity we're going to have and the soul of the team and that stuff, without question, the soul of our defense is Jamal Adams. He just set the safety stack record while missing games last season for Seattle. But every single year, I think the way that we can predict what our identity is going to be defensively is by looking at what we've done in the past. It's not about schematically what we've done. It's about how we've adapted to the players on our roster. Every single year, it feels like our defensive scheme, just like our offensive scheme at time, has changed based on the personnel we have available. And those of us, everyone on this roundtable has followed the Seahawks probably longer than I have. So you guys will know going back into the day that, Pete Carroll's always talking about, it's about fitting the scheme to make the personnel as successful as possible within their role. And it's about helping the players succeed by putting them in a position to be successful. Looking at the personnel on this team, you guys heard the stat I just dropped. 30 sacks last year between 4 guys. We're going to be a blitz heavy. We're going to be a pass rush. We're going to be a go get their quarterback defense. We're going to be a Put Jamal Adams in the box. Let him go make a play. It's what we did last year. How many times before last year have we really blitzed a safety like we've been blitzing Jamal Adams? We adapted to the personnel on our defense, and that's what's made us so spectacular defensively. I think the heart of our offense to this point has been more Dwayne Brown, as we've lost, some of that touch without beast mode being there. And I definitely think offensively, Russell Wilson needs to be that guy, and we need Chris Carson to be that guy as much as possible. And eventually we can give it to DK, but right now he's too mature. But defensively, without question, the heart is Jamal Adams, with his leadership, with his energy, with his excitement and his appreciation for being in Seattle after being on the New York Jets. But without question, I think our identity defensively, we're going to get after the quarterback.
All right, I love it. So I want to pick up the pace a little bit and get to some of these rapid fire questions out. We're going to make these short. All right, some of these are going to be one-word answers. Some of them are going to be slightly more descriptive, and we're just going to fire through a few things. This is great. You guys have broken this down really well. But going off of what we just broke down, I want to see. I know the answer from Coach Marsh, but I'll let you say it for the record anyway. But. What will Russell Wilson's final year be with the Seahawks? We're just going to round the horn. You give me a year. And if you want to say the end of his career, you can say the end of his career. But I want to hear a year that is his final year with the Seahawks. Steezy.
He's going to be there his whole career.
Paul Gallant.
This one's difficult because it really does depend on whether or not his play is going to be able to hold up. I do think that he sees out the rest of the contract. 2024. Look, I'll just say this: if his mobility declines the way that it seemed to towards the end of last year at an increased rate, and at age 35 he's less mobile, then the Seahawks might decide to go in a different direction. So, very curious on that front. We definitely haven't heard any talk about a conversation, and he is under contract the next 2 seasons. So yeah, I think 2024. We might see another quarterback under center for the Seahawks.
And you're thinking it's not Russ leaving. It's the Seahawks saying we're making a change because we need to see somebody different.
Right, that would be the big thing. Now, if they get to that point and he plays well, they're going to franchise tag him, and I doubt that he's going to have the ability to perhaps go to the places that he wants. But yes, I think until 2024.
Squabo.
Paul, man, you scare me, man. I don't think 2024. I think that's a little bit premature. I think what I can almost guarantee, my biggest faith that I have about this prediction is that Russell Wilson and Pete Carroll are walking out together. Pete Carroll is not going to stick around and rebuild with a young quarterback at this age and at this stage of his career. And Russell Wilson has enough longevity that Pete Carroll can at least scratch the itch for another 6, 7, 8, 9 potential years in Seattle. I think Russell Wilson finishes his career in Seattle. I think when he's done, Pete Carroll's done. I think John Schneider might be done. He might stick around because, he's the youngest. But I feel like Pete Carroll, Russell Wilson walk off together. I think they stay for Russell Wilson's entire career. And I put that somewhere between 2028 and 2030.
All right, Mike Lorrain, Russell Wilson, final year.
The NFL is a business. Things change. Things change that none of us can predict. I would say, if you want to ask a year for me, I'd say 2023. And I know that Squabble mentioned that Pete Carroll might not want to have a young quarterback. Well, it could be an old quarterback. Sometimes fans like something new and fresh because it gives them a whole bunch of new things to talk about. So, who knows? Aaron Rodgers, Seattle Seahawks in 2023, and Russell Wilson goes somewhere else. You just don't know. But he's been here a while, and sometimes fans like changes because it's just a new bit of excitement.
So, but gun to the head. Is he gone at 23? Is he here? Mode. Is he here or not? You always say he could be. Is he going to be here past 2023? Yes or no?
I said no.
No. Okay. Well, let's go over to Coach Marsh. And I've asked this question before. I'll ask it again, Coach Marsh. Are you sticking with your guns that Russell Wilson is gone a year from now?
Yes. Now let me say something after. Now that I just punched that right out there. First, Mike Lorrain, I would absolutely be all for that swap that you just said. And I've said that from the get-go, that if two disgruntled people wanted to trade spots, I would take it in a heartbeat. Now, I think he's absolutely gone at the end of this season. Enjoy him for what he's done, but we need to get out of nostalgic Russ mode. And again, I've had season tickets in our family since '76. Love him, love everything he's done. So thankful for everything. It doesn't mean I don't like Russell Wilson or am appreciative of what he's done. But I agree with Mike also that change can be good. Norb has won as many Super Bowls as Russ has since the last Super Bowl. Norb can throw interceptions as well as Russ can in a Super Bowl. We can lose games in the first round with Norb at quarterback. So even if he wins the Super Bowl this year, I don't think it matters. And Squabble, you're correct. That's the last thing I'll say.
Really?
Pete Carroll is walking out the door with somebody, but it's not with Russ. It's with Schneider. And they will determine what Russ does, and they'll be the ones who decide that Russ is going to leave. And then they'll decide when they want to leave after that.
Marsh, can we put Dew on that? Like right now, Russ being here in a year, can we put Diet Mountain Dew on that or a steak or something? Like, I want to make a bet with you that Russ will be here after a year.
How about a pizza? How about pizza pipeline, 24 inches, 22 ounces, and
let's.
I mean, I don't know what you can have. I don't want to overstretch your bounds. You know, I was a teacher. I pledged the oath of poverty for 30 years, so I can only bet like $1.47.
No, it's good. It's good. However you want to do it, we can.
Thing,
you know,
right?
you guys have ideas, put it in the chat.
If he stays, nobody remembers me. No one's gonna remember me anyway. But if he goes,
I will.
Guess who's gonna love coming on this show next January? And I'll be like, why did Paul not come on? Why did Swabo not come on? Why did Steezy? Why is Norb in the fetal position?
They're going to remember. They're going to remember everything said in this show.
It's like if you go to Vegas with Norb, he doesn't tell you all the losses, but man, when he wins $100, I had that winner, I had that one. You know, no, I'm kidding. I've never gone to Vegas with Norb, but that's how betting people are, right? Like when they win, they want to share everything else. So when I win that prediction, you better believe I'm going to come out like, I told you guys. And if I don't, no one will care.
Yeah, but see, Squabo will care because he's holding you to it. He's holding you to it to be accountable in case you're wrong.
I'm not going to let you get away with it.
I'll send you a pizza now. Steezy thinks Russell's going to play till 2084, you know, because he loves the guy too. So. And again, don't take it personal, right? It's entertainment. Like,
it's not personal.
I think he's gonna be gone. But I think it's okay because I haven't seen the improvement. I don't know that he'll buy into it. I think we could win a Super Bowl. It could be great, but he's got other things to do, man. The guy's the Nickelodeon, guy for the next 20 years if he wants it.
I'm curious about the idea of Pete Carroll and John Schneider leaving at the same time. Because John Schneider did just get extended this through 2027. Pete Carroll's under contract, I believe, through 2025. I do think that one of them will definitively be here for a while. Pete Carroll's energy is ridiculous for the age that he has. And sitting in person with him, I feel old very often.
Did you see him tackle that guy the other day? It was awesome.
Yes, it's ridiculous.
I seen him force the ball out.
It's nuts. Yeah. It really is. I love that energy that he's still able to bring to the table. I'm curious as to when Pete will eventually decide that he wants to move on, but I think that he actually would be up for the challenge of a life without a quarterback like Russell Wilson. I think he is all about challenges and taking them on and taking them on positive, psychotic energy that he has. John Schneider being here till 2027 is definitely intriguing. He has, at least in the past couple of years, seemed to have a pretty good eye for quarterbacks, the ones that he has gone to the pro days of. And I know that Russell Wilson was rubbed the wrong way by him going to the Josh Allen pro day. I thought Josh Allen was going to be terrible, and here we are looking at Josh Allen as potentially a top 5 quarterback going into this next season. We'll see if that lasts with crowds in the actually in the stands and stuff. So I think Schneider's going to be there the longest. I don't think that Pete and John are going to go at the same time. If that were to happen, yikes! I mean, there would be a lot of instability, and I do not want to think about what I read this book about the Seahawks and about what days were like in the days of the Nordstroms and all those years before.
The prehistoric days. The prehistoric days.
Sounds brutal.
Well, all right. There's some good times there. Yeah, I think that Schneider, because he was going to go to Detroit, and then Abker talked him out of it when he talked about how bad Detroit was on one of our shows, but he chose not to take that job. So yeah, I think they're done.
So, Coach Marsh, you have an out at 7, right? That's 30 minutes from now.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. I want to make sure we have enough time for trivia because that's why people are actually watching is just because of that. They really don't care about what else we say. They're just waiting for that trivia to start. Yeah. But I do want to bang out a few quick ones. I thought that was going to be a quick one, but that took a long time. So these are going to be really fast. I'm going to go around the horn, and it's just going to be like one-word answers real quick. All right. Who's your favorite NFL player? Could be current or past. Steezy.
Adrian Peterson.
Paul.
Wow. Tom Brady. Sorry.
Squabbo.
Can we kick Paul off the show, man? I like beast. I like beast mode.
Hey, he's smart, man. He's smart. He's smart.
Making session that they did. That's perfect.
Mike Lorrain.
I was trying to reach for my John Elway rookie card, but it's out of grasp.
Oh, I was hoping you'd have that in your hand.
There you go.
John Elway. All right. Coach Marsh.
I have to make it a tie because it's Marcus Allen and Lester Hayes.
Well, I'm
going to stick them and the smoothest runner of all time.
I'm going to go with my camp chancellor and of course the original enforcer Kenny Easley. I love those two guys. Seahawks anyway.
Wait, was it favorite Seahawk ever? Did you say favorite Seahawk ever?
I actually said NFL player. I said NFL player.
Yeah, because you said NFL. If we were saying Seahawks, that's going to be different. I mean, obviously, we all have Seahawks that are above anybody else.
Well, my show, my question. All right, next question.
Right,
favorite?
I'm curious if you have a favorite NFL player. If you have somebody other than Seahawks, like who would be your non-Seahawk player of all time that you just either hated watching or loved watching or...
That'd be Starbuck from Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah. I remember that the first impression was Roger Staubach because when I first started watching football, he was the quarterback that I kind of got interested in. That's why I was a temporary Dallas Cowboys fan, at least until they played the Super Bowl against the Steelers. So Staubach definitely had an impression on me as a youngster. So, yeah.
Landry, one of the most innovative coaches of all time.
Well dressed too. Mm-hmm. All business. All right, favorite football movie. That would be Steezy.
Oh, my! I didn't know we were doing the same word. I've been on the record saying this, but The Blind Side for me.
Paul Gallant.
The TV show is great. Friday Night Lights, the movie, is a fantastic recreation of high school football, and I think it's about as real as it gets. Plus, it takes place in the great state of Texas.
Squabbo.
Facing the Giants.
Mike Lorrain.
It's a tough one, but I would say Friday Night Lights because it reminded me of growing up in a football town with a dad who was a head football coach that had to deal with many of the pressures that the coach in that movie had to deal with. So Friday Night Lights.
Coach Marsh.
Yeah, I agree. The movie was awesome. I think the show was even better, but I didn't watch either until after I was done with football. And then I realized, man, like that is as true as it really becomes in coaching. And we obviously are in Texas. It just felt so real.
But wait, hold on a minute there. Bill, Norb and I and you all saw Friday Night Lights together. We saw the movie together.
Show. No, I meant the show. No, I meant the series. Yeah, I saw the movie.
The series.
I'm sorry, that didn't come across. Yeah, the TV series, I deliberately did not watch it because I felt like it's like a brain surgeon coming home and watching ER during his surgery career. Like, I don't want to watch it. It seems dumb, seems done. And then years later, I watched the series and like binge watched it. I couldn't believe how accurate it was. Just like the movie. Yeah, I knew we had seen the movie together, just like we saw Star Wars and some other stuff together.
Yep.
Well, I was a Johnny Come Lately. I didn't watch Rudy when it came out, but me and Mike actually watched a lot of football movies that we hadn't seen in just this past year of doing our movie review show. And Rudy's a great show. I was like, man, I should have seen this a long time ago. Rudy's great. I love that. That's a great movie. It's a great movie. If you haven't seen it, you got to see it.
Yeah. But the greatest quarterback of all time in a movie is Johnny Utah.
Oh, Utah, give me two.
Point Break. Johnny Utah, Point Break.
Oh,
Patrick Swayze.
Point Break.
The first one, the original one.
Agent.
A real one.
All right, continuing going down the horn because we are going to do trivia in just a moment. Favorite food? Steezy.
Ooh. Man, spaghetti.
All right, simple and can't go wrong. Paul Gallant.
Give me the biggest ribeye you can. Give me 30 plus ounces of steak, and I will destroy that.
Oh,
Is there a Texas theme going on? Also, there's like a Texas flavor going on, like pun intended.
How about you, Squabo? Favorite food?
Man, I can't get past a good meal of that baked mac and cheese, that homemade with the breadcrumbs. That's my weakness.
Man, you're making me sway on my answer. Mike Lorrain.
That would be a wonderful dish called mastacholi.
What is that?
It is a beef and pasta dish.
Mastacholi. All right. Coach Marsh.
That would be hibachi chicken from the old Benihana's now turned Tokyo Steakhouse where they cook in front of you and all that. Like, give me the hibachi chicken and fried rice.
Oh, but they do the little tricks and they spin the knives around and toss some things and shrimp in your mouth.
Makes it taste better. Yeah, they do little choo-choo and all that stuff. Man, it's awesome. Squabba, what is the mac and cheese? You ever had Beecher's mac and cheese?
I have not.
I get that from Costco all the time.
Yeah, I can't stand Beecher's mac and cheese, but I worked with them and I was working for them years ago when they became Oprah's favorite. Classic story, yeah. They came out, all the computers shut down.
I see.
I like that lobster. I like when they put lobster in lobster mac and cheese. But I think I have to say, put a big Dungeness crab with a little thing of vinegar and a bunch of rice, no utensils, all hands on deck, man. Oh, I can eat that all day long. Dungeness crab, man, or any kind of big thing of just big crab pot.
Why don't you do that, and Paul and I will do a reaction video to it. We'll react to you stuff.
I've already grossed out some people because we never cleaned the crab in our house. We just eat it, guts and all. And man, Mark Collins, my buddy, he was like, "Oh, you are sick. You are one disgusting man." But that's the way we rolled, man.
Holy cow!
Okay, the last question I want to ask, because this was a good one that was asked of me a few weeks ago, but it's a kind of a thinking question. But if you were stuck on a deserted island and you could take 3 celebrities with you, who would they be? Let's go with Steezy.
Man, so give me Eric Thomas, the world's best motivational speaker. Give me I'm gonna need some smart people.
He's gonna put your head underwater.
So I got motivation.
You know what I'm talking about.
I am, yeah. If you can't, the speech. Man, Nor, can you come back to me? I need some time. I'm sorry.
It's just a tricky one. I know it's a tricky one. Paul Gallant. And if you don't have it, you don't have to come up with all 3 of them. But if something inspiration strikes you, go for it. Paul, can you think of 3 celebrities you want to be stuck on a deserted island forever?
Guy Fieri, because he's going to make me full every single night. Bill Burr, because he's going to make me laugh. And then Kate Beckinsale for moral support.
Moral support. I like the way you put that. Squavo, how about you? And we can say for the record that any answers we put here cannot be used against us by our wives or significant others. Just putting that out there. This is a hypothetical 3 celebrities and nobody else.
I've got a female I'm putting out there, so don't worry.
Squavo, go ahead.
Don't worry.
So your girl will be okay.
No, guys.
We'll all hug our wives when we fight with your girlfriends later.
You're not gonna catch me slipping. Nah, I'm talking 3 dudes. I think one of them was gonna be Eric Thomas. No, actually, scratch that. I can't do Eric Thomas now because Steezy said my 3 celebrities. If I could take 3 celebrities to an island with me, Marsh, Steezy, Norb. Sorry, Paul. Sorry, Mike.
That a boy. There you go. There you go. Now you're thinking. That's entertainment.
That is some serious brown nosing going on here, but I like it.
I like it. That's a smart move.
Mike Lorrain.
I had to think fast, but being an 80s guy, I always really liked Paulina Porskova, so I would take Paulina with me to the island. And then another celebrity, I would have to take my friend NorbCam, and I could show him all about playing Elder Scrolls 5 Skyrim on the island. And then I'd need a really good narrator, so I'd bring Liam Neeson to just narrate everything that goes on the island in his deep voice.
That's good.
In a world.
Coach Marsh.
Yeah, so I would take Anthony Hopkins, just because he could just be many characters for me at all times. He could scare me. He could do those things. I would bring the guy who was the voice for Transformers. Like I don't remember what his name is.
Peter
But he is actually a famous dude. Yeah, he's done like I just want someone that I feel like I'm with actually 100 people, because they can just do all these different things. And then I get Betty White, because again, someone who's been around for, I think she's alive. She's like 90 years old. She probably has great stories to tell. She's kind of flirtatious a little bit, but it's like, hey, easy Betty, but let's we can still joke around, have some fun. I think that'd be a fun crew to joke around with.
I had to, my answer I did on this before. I'm going to stick with it.
Goldberg's a good one.
I would say Bear Grylls, because I think that's his name, right? The guy who did the survival thing, just because he knows how to survive on a deserted island. And then when he and Beast Mode did the show together, that was the funniest thing I ever saw. I thought, hey, Beast Mode, he's a strong guy, he's going to keep you entertained, and awesome. He's really smart. So you put those two together, and then I got to have something like, who said for motivation? Was it you, Steve? No, it was Paul who said for motivation. Oh, no, Squavos, right? First for motivation. So J-Lo for motivational entertainment. Because J-Lo, she has a slight little Spanish accent. She could dance and sing a little bit. Tell some good stories at night.
Why am I feeling lost on that one? Like you said, like I thought you were gonna go kind of Eric Thomas type. Motivation. J-Lo. I'm not quite. That's like.
Nor about to get locked out of his bedroom.
We gotta get another quarterback like Russell. We need another Russell Wilson, Rick Meyer. Like it's just I'm not seeing it, man.
Oh man! Sometimes you pull something out, you don't know where it comes from. All right,
I love it, man. I love it.
So people are already asking. OMF Google says Norb's in trouble. All right, just fast forward through that part there. I'm gonna delete it later. So we're gonna do the trivia now because I know Coach has got to go in a few, and we got to go through this quick. So the way this works is this is a
don't base it on me. Don't base it on me.
Okay, well, you have to stick then until we get done. All right, so for everybody else, this is the way the Kahoot works. So when I bring up the number, enter it in your Kahoot app or Kahoot.com. For everybody here, you guys will just be doing the, we'll do go around the horn answering the questions, and we'll see who gets the highest score at the end. The last 3 questions are worth double points. All right, let's do this. You guys ready?
Cameron Hughes, that's a great comment. He just said Russ would blame me for not building a shelter. Cameron Hughes, that's a great. I don't get to read the comments very much, but Cameron, that's fantastic, man.
All right, let's do this. Here we go. Trivia time. Get ready. Here is the number. 576-2232. 576-2232. All right, start punching them in, and we should start seeing some names come up here. MC Carr, go Hawks. Try to keep it clean. Cameron Hughes, 576-2232. Aaron Rodgers.
Is J-Lo dancing to this song, Norb?
I could picture it. Lance to Kittle. Oh, we got a 49er fan in the house here. Again, the number is 576-2232. Where are those funny names? Where's the never gonna give you up in here? Rain City.
Yeah, can we get hacked in or something? Like, can we?
Yeah, go Pack Go.
People going through.
Again, the number 576-2232. I know you got more people out here. Come on, get on your Kahoots and get in here. 576-2232. Not a bot doc. Make you cry. Again, pin number 576-2232. The trivia brought to you by Sky-High Aviation, Norb's Toilet, Elvis. All right, see where that comes from. Bucks Nation, Joe Mama. We go about another 30 seconds. Alex Collins, RB2 in the house. Chris Carson. NORBFAM Nation. All right, 15 more seconds, and we're going to start this thing. Anybody else? 576-2232. Going once. Going twice. And, Norb's unhappy wife. More like Norb's angry wife. No. Our anniversary coming up. Russ's Future, SUS. All right, last one here. 576-2232. 576-2232. Going once, going twice. John Elway. hurt you.
Hey,
We got it.
are we missing something on like national news right now or something? Like, where is everybody?
I know. Usually it's this big blown up when they're never going to give you up. J-Lo's playing.
I think everyone's on CB's channel waiting for the next upload.
Seahawks champs.
Yeah, they're all looking at Jenny from the Block and all of her songs now. They all went to.
All right. I think we're about ready to start this. Here we go. In 3. Well, CRK. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, let's go.
Paul, his 1 minute is like 1 minute with 3 timeouts left. In the game.
All right, here we go. Thank you, Sky-High Aviation. Everybody ready? First question. How long was Terrell Owens a Seahawk? 20 days, 73 days, 34 days, or 14 days? How long was Terrell Owens a Seahawk? 20 days, 73 days, 34 days, or 14 days? You have 3 seconds. Time is up. All right, 4 of you guys got that one correct. Let's go to the panel. Let's see, where's the panel? There's the panel. All right, starting with, let me get my numbers up here ready. Start with, there we go. Sorry, I got to get my technicalities here ready. All right, starting with, I got in the order here. Squabo. Squabo, what do you got?
I had no idea what the answer was. So I went with the middle of the cluster of answers, 14, 20, 35, and got it right, 20.
All right. Not well done. Squabble with 1. Steezy.
So this one you either know or you don't. I didn't, but I guessed and I still got it right. So I said 20.
Ooh, all right. 2 lucky guesses so far. Paul Gallant. Gallant says.
I guess 14. Thought it would have been less.
That's what I would have guessed too. All right. No points there. Coach Marsh.
Yeah, I thought it was like 14 hours, but he does lead the all Hall of Fame group that played for us briefly, like Franco Harris, Jerry Rice, all those guys. But yeah, I didn't get it right, unfortunately.
Mike.
Yeah, I had no idea, so I guessed way wrong.
Okay. All right. So with that, Squabble and Steezy on the early lead. Let's see how the leaderboard shakes out. So far, NORBFAM Nation on top with Archan in second, Not-A-Bot Doc in third, CRK in fourth, and MC Carr, no points, in fifth. Next question. What player for the Seahawks 2019 draft class no longer plays for the Seahawks? DeMarcus Christmas, Gary Jennings Jr., Ed Marinaro, or Clark Kellogg? What player from the Seahawks 2019 draft class no longer plays for the Seahawks? DeMarcus Christmas, Gary Jennings Jr., Ed Marinaro, or Clark Kellogg? Time is up. So if you said Gary Jennings Jr., you would be correct. 6 of you guys got that one correct. Let's go to the panel with Squabo. Squabo, what you got?
I have now enough information to know how little I know about the Seahawks. I was like Clark Kellogg. I said Clark Kellogg. I was wrong.
And you would be wrong. Okay, Steezy, chance to take the lead, does he?
Clark Kellogg. So I know the last 2 were just kind of mixed in there to kind of fool us. And then DeMarcus Christmas, I feel like I've heard his name recently. Gary Jennings, I haven't. So I'm going with Gary Jennings.
Ooh, so Steezy gets a quick 2-point lead here. Paul Gallant.
Yeah, Gary Jennings. I remember that from when I first came in because I looked at the Seahawks draft class and I was like, oh, yeah, that guy's missing. Yeah.
All right, on the board. How about Coach Marsh?
This might be my best way to figure out an answer ever, and then I'll retire after this, because Clark Kellogg doesn't need to call the CBS basketball games, and DeMarcus Christmas, I mean, we're not going to get the holiday name. Ed Marinaro, he was on Hill Street Blues and played for Cornell and was second in the Heisman Trophy in 1973, and I actually coached his son this summer in South Carolina.
Oh my
I kid you not. I swear to God, you could ask my wife right now. I coached his son this summer in South Carolina when I was stuck there, so I knew that when my son Ed Marinaro. I'm like, what? So Gary Jennings Jr., who I've never heard of the dude. Gary had to be the guy because I've never heard of him.
That is Crazy! Wow, that's a That's a wild story. Wild coincidence. Small world. All right, Mike, Lorrain.
Are we going to get to some 80s questions soon, hopefully?
Maybe. I guarantee you will get at least one correct. You will get at least one answer correct. I guarantee you. Probably two. But it may not be anytime soon.
I did not know, so I took a big guess with Mr. Ed, and the answer was wrong.
All right. Well, let's go to the leaderboard. Let's see what happens here. NORBFAM Nation at the top, Cameron Hughes in second, Archan in third, Aaron Rodgers in fourth, and Bucks Nation in fifth. All right, next question. What is the name of the actor who plays Cardinals fan Bob in NorbCam rival videos? Byron Raines, Dino Moore, Dave Beecher, or Brian Lipe? What is the name of the actor who plays Cardinals fan Bob in NorbCam rivals videos? Byron Raines, Dino Moore, Dave Beecher, or Brian Lipe? If you're paying attention earlier, you might actually know one of these names. Time is up. All right. The correct answer is Dino Moore. 4 of you got that one correct. This is a little bit, have to know a little inside info on this one. Let's go to the panel and Squabo.
I have to return one of my NORBFAM cards. Because I got this one. I got this one wrong.
I used to think you knew my videos. I'm starting to think otherwise.
I remember the Norb guy. I remember all the guys you were beating up, avoiding ketchup from, stuff like that. Throwing tomatoes.
All right, Steezy with a chance to extend his lead.
Won't do it this round. I think you said Beecher. Was it Beecher? I went with that dude.
Okay. Dave Beecher was actually, I'll let Mike explain and remind again. Gallant says, I know you have a little chance at anybody, but you might be lucky. Paul Gallant.
Yeah, I wasn't. I was not like,
All right. Let's go to Coach Marsh. Were you paying attention?
Yeah, because the fact that Beecher, I just said it, so I knew he was out. Brian Lipe sounds too much like Brian Sipe. There's your 80s reference, Mike. Byron Rands, no vowels between 3 syllables doesn't work, so it had to be Dino Moore. Got it right.
Well, and Dino because of back in the day when doing those highlight videos.
Yes. I wasn't going to say that. Thanks, Norb. I wasn't going to say that I've only seen him 100,000 times, doing win-win, singing songs and all the other behind-the-scenes stuff. So, but thanks for putting that out there.
Yeah, well,
I was trying to make it up there.
Okay. Mike Lorrain, I finally get on the board here.
Yes. Byron Raines is also known as the 12th Can fan. Brian Lipe was our director of photography, and I can't read this. What was the third, the yellow one?
Dave Beecher.
Dave Beecher is a friend of mine, and he helped out with one of our shoots. And so my answer was Dino Moore, and I am now on the board.
Yes, and we got a tight race right here. All right, so let's go to the leaderboard here, see how things change. NORBFAM Nation on fire. Number 1, Cameron Hughes in second, Rain City in third, Archan in fourth, Aaron Rodgers drop into fifth. NORBFAM Nation on fire with 3 correct answers. Next question. Who was the Seahawks offensive line coach in 2009? Mike Solari, Bill Lazor, Tom Cable, or Doug Marrone? Who was the Seahawks offensive line coach in 2009? Mike Solari, Bill Lazor or Lazor, Tom Cable, or Doug Marrone? Time is up. Mike Solari. Most of the YouTubers got that one correct. It was the correct answer. Well, let's see what the panel had to say about this. Squabo, chance to tie.
Man, I'm not having the best trivia here, guys. As a former center, this embarrasses me. But I was like, Mike Solari, Tom Cable, okay, those are the 2 recent guys, da-da-da. Then you mispronounced Doug Marrone, so I'm like, okay, it couldn't have been him. And then, so I said Bill Lazor.
Oh, man. All right, Steezy, how about you? Chance to take the lead again.
Literally the same exact logic as Squab. Same answer as Squab. I said Bill Lazor, and I just know that with Marrone, or is it Marrone? I think he had a defensive background, so I heard him out there. It's Marone. Okay. So, yeah, I ended up going with Bill Lazor, but I got him anyway.
All right, Paul Gallant with an opportunity to tie the score here. Paul.
So I knew it wasn't Marone because Marone was the head coach of my beloved Syracuse Orange, I believe, starting in 2009. I think. I'm not 100% sure on that. College is a little bit blurry. I also thought that there's no way that Mike Solari's back for a second stint. Thinking that it couldn't be Tom Cable either, I also said Bill Lazor.
Wow. Lazor's just drawing all the attention. Coach Marsh, you can take the lead with this one.
Yeah, and college is fuzzy for a lot of us, Paul. So definitely, I think you're right with the Doug call there. Tom Cable, we know he's just more current times. Lazor, I think, had a laser beam arm and was a quarterback coach, I think. So I had Mike Solari.
Oh, so Coach Marsh takes the lead with 3 points. Mike Lorrain.
Well, I had no idea what the answer was, and my gut told me if you're just not sure, go with the guy who's got the same name as you. So I went with Mike.
Like
I was going to say, good logic there. And now that ties you in for second place. All right, let's go to the leaderboard to see where we're at. The NORBFAM Nation's still on fire. Cameron Hughes in second. Not Doc up to third. CRK in fourth. And Rain City down the bottom at fifth. Next question. What team did Michael Bennett first play for in 2009? Seahawks, Vikings, Buccaneers, or Texans? What team did Michael Bennett first play for in 2009? Seahawks, Vikings, Buccaneers, or Texans? Seahawks, Vikings, Buccaneers, Texans. Time is up. Ooh, trick question right there.
Ooh.
Most people thought it was Buccaneers. I would have fallen for that trap as well. That was the Seahawks. Who knew?
Oh.
Does anybody know? Squabo, did you know?
No.
Steezy, did you?
Wow.
Oh.
Wow.
Just say no.
I was gonna say the Buccaneers, but
So did I.
I mean, now that I think of it, I do kind of remember a little something, but I didn't go with that, so I got it wrong.
It's a tricky one.
I feel
Sky-High
like
Aviation.
such a genius. I feel like such a genius. I was like, I talked about it earlier. They're all gonna get the answer
I
from
know,
me. Like,
exactly.
I say that. Like, were you flaring him up? Like, oh, we brought him as a free agent.
Yeah, we all
too.
do. Yeah. So Paul Gallant, do you know something we don't?
I did have the Seahawks because I remember looking this up a couple of months ago.
Look at you.
And I was surprised. I was like, wait a second. He was here before his time with the Buccaneers. But yeah, he was here for a little cup of coffee before moving on to Tampa Bay.
Look at you, Paul Gallant. Pulls into second place with three-way tie. But Coach Marsh could extend the lead by 2. But does he?
Yeah, I do. But my real question is, what would happen if you turn this down to like 8 seconds or 10 seconds for the question and people couldn't do the quick Google search with their fingers to do this thing? Because that people could look that up in 5 seconds, right? So that to me is what's hilarious. That Paul says he looked it up 2 months ago, which I agree with. It's the people that looked it up in the last 20 seconds. To
Yeah,
get the answer.
fast fingers.
Yeah. But yes, I got that. I had Michael.
I'm
All right.
sure on
So-
March 14, 2013, when he signed with the Seahawks. Yes, and yeah, there you go.
All right. Most of us didn't know that. Now, Mike Lorrain, did you know this? You got another
I
guy
did
named
not.
Michael?
I know. I thought for sure he would have come from somewhere else first. So I picked Texas just because my wife's from Texas, Paul's from Texas. I thought, why not?
Didn't work. All right, so that puts Coach Marsh in the lead. Three-way tie for second. Steezy, Paul, and Mike, and Squabo trying to climb his way out of last place. Let's check the leaderboard. NORBFAM Nation still on top. Cameron Hughes in second. CRK moved up to third. Not Doc in fourth. And Elvis gets onto the top 5 at number 5. Next question. True or false? Russell Wilson still holds the record for most touchdown passes in his rookie year. True or false? Russell Wilson still holds the record for most touchdown passes in his rookie year. True or false?
I mean, as a rookie.
As a rookie.
Most TD passes as a rookie. For the NFL.
Russell Wilson still holds the record for most touchdown passes in his rookie year. True or false? The answer is false. And I believe the reason we say that is because he didn't hold the record.
Yeah, because he hasn't been a rookie since his first year. Right, Paul? He hasn't been a rookie since his first year. That's why he didn't break his record.
Yeah.
in his
That
rookie
makes
year.
sense. I saw the wording of that question. I was like, yeah, that's a trap. That's a trick question. It just to me it was too specific.
All right, so let's go through everybody's answers. Squabo?
Okay, I don't want to, poop on Sky-High Aviation because this is a brilliant quiz. Obviously, it's fooling me. I'm in last place, but I've seen harder questions than this on the back of a cereal box. This was false all the way through. Baker and then Herbert. Both broke it.
All right, let's go to Steezy.
Yeah, same exact logic as Squab. And like I said earlier, he didn't actually break the record. He just tied the record.
Tied it.
Peyton Manning's a 26. So, yeah, it's been broken twice. So, not
All right, Paul Gallant.
I legitimately looked at the question, overthought it, honestly thought that we were talking about the rookie Seahawk that had the most touchdown passes in his rookie year, which he probably had. But the question was weird in a way worded in a way where I was like, you know what, I think this is false. So I had no logic behind that. That was just a blind guess.
Oh, so you did go with false, though?
Yes, I did go with false.
Oh, okay, all right. Everybody's getting the answers here. Coach Marsh.
Yeah, the learning lesson Sky-High Aviation is that people turn on you in a heartbeat, even when they're 0-4 like Squabble, and then they get something right and they rip you apart. So, Sky-High, I still love you. Yeah, false.
All right, Mike Lorrain, can you keep the streak of all correct answers in this one?
Well, I looked hard at the question and I got suckered in and I said true. So
Oh. So that Coach Marsh stays in first, tied Steezy and Paul in second, and then Squabo and Mike tied for third. It's a tight race here. Let's go to the leaderboard now and see where things shake up here. NORBFAM Nation drops. Cameron Hughes goes to the top. NORBFAM Nation in second, or not a bot doc in third. CRK to fourth, and Archan back up there at fifth. And J-Lo is climbing up 4 places in the background.
J-Lo.
She's trying to get onto that deserted island.
She's rowing to the island.
She's swimming. She's swimming her way over there.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, that's what's his name gave a great talk, a motivational talk for her to start swimming.
That's right. All right. Next question here. What year did Nike replace Reebok as the NFL's official gear supplier? 2010, 2015, 2012, or 2018? What year did Nike replace Reebok as the NFL's official gear supplier? 2010, 2015, 2012, or 2018? Nike replacing Reebok. Time is up. Oh, yeah. Most of the audience got that one correct. 2012, the year they changed those uniforms to... At first, I thought it was kind of weird and funky because I couldn't really read the numbers, but then learned to love it. But let's see if the panel is on with the years of the designer. Squabo.
I feel like an idiot for not just thinking about the year that we got the uniform at first. I thought about that at the end. I got this right, for the record. But okay. I thought about it based on, test-taking logic. And, the 3 closest answers and then the one in the middle. So I said 2012, but it wasn't because I remembered, which makes me feel stupid.
Okay. Steezy.
Yeah, this one was easy. Russ Wilson was drafted in 2012, and I've never seen him in a Reebok uniform. Yep. And I just remember when these jerseys came out, I was just like, man, no, without any homers in me whatsoever, I just thought that we had the coolest, in terms of design, the coolest jerseys in the NFL. So 2012 was a year that I picked.
All right, easy for Steezy. How about Paul?
I remember this because the Texans redesigned their uniforms essentially by changing the collar ever so slightly. They have the most boring uniforms in the NFL and an opportunity with it. So, yes, 2012 was what I guessed too.
All right, Coach Marsh.
Yeah, so this was back before the word fire was a verb and it was a noun. When you say something was on fire, it is fire. But the great Dan Lewis from Como News used to always say, this is under the category of who cares. So I got it wrong.
What?
Because to me, it is under the category of who cares. No offense, Sky Aviation. So I had 2010, but I was thinking that was the year that they had done the swap.
Oh, I'd given you a point there, and I got to take it off because I thought you had this one. All right, so Coach Marsh stumbles in his first place run here. Mike, trying to keep up with the pack. Does he?
When I was a kid growing up, I felt like I had to take so many multiple choice tests where you fill in a little circle, and I would look, and I sucked at multiple choice tests, and I suck at this multiple choice question as well, because I guessed 2010 because I didn't know, and I thought, well, I feel like Nike's been around forever, so I'm going to go with the oldest year.
Well, so you and Bill, you and Coach Marsh sort of fell into the same hole. All right, tough one right there. So we got Coach Marsh by a thread in first, Paul and Steezy tied in second, Squabble in third, and Mike Lorrain in the 80s in fourth. Let's go to the leaderboard here and see how the stats change there in YouTube land. Cameron Hughes still on top. NORBFAM Nation in second. Archan moves up to third. CRK in fourth. And J-Lo gets onto the island at fifth. Go Hawks is the highest climber, up 4 places, trying to get into the top 5. Here we go. Next question. Who is the oldest player currently on the Seahawks? KJ Wright, Aldon Smith, Jason Myers, Dwayne Brown. Who's the oldest player currently on the Seahawks? KJ Wright, Aldon Smith, Jason Myers, or Dwayne Brown? 3 seconds. Time is up. The correct answer would be your left tackle, Dwayne Brown. Let's go to the panel. Squabo.
KJ's not on the Seahawks. I didn't know about Alden. Kicker was bait. I said Dwayne Brown.
And you would be correct, sir. Steezy.
Yeah, Dwayne Brown, easy. I think he's either 35, if not going on 36. And we don't have too many old dudes on the roster, so Dwayne Brown.
Paul Gallant.
From his time in Houston, I know he is up there in age, so I guess Dwayne Brown.
All right. Coach Marsh.
Yes, to Dwayne.
Mike Lorrain.
Jason Myers made me think of Michael Myers from the Friday the 13th movies, so I went with him.
And actually, that's the Halloween movies. You have the wrong horror movie as well, so
Yes.
you're wrong on all counts.
I stuck at multiple choice.
Oh, the dunce cap.
That's a good try, though. I like the logic. But, sorry, no winner there. All right, next, let's take a look at the leaderboard. Oh, changes galore. NORBFAM Nation back on top. Cameron Hughes in second. Archan in third. Not About Doc and rises up to fourth. CRK in fifth. And no more J-Lo. But up 3 places, Jay is the highest climber. Next question. Number 9. What number did Jermaine Kearse wear in his first year with the Seahawks? 17, 10, 11, or 15? What number did Jermaine Kearse wear in his first year with the Seahawks? 17, 10, 11, or 15? Ooh, this was trickier than I thought. I was definitely fooled when I first looked at this. Only 2 people got this correct. It was the number 11. I do not remember that personally. But do you guys? Squabo.
You know, I felt a magnetic pulse coming from the number 11.
Really?
I didn't think it'd be 15 because, well, I think I remember seeing him in number 11, and apparently that was correct because it was the right answer. But I don't know. Obviously, 15 was like the bait, and I was like, well, they could just trick us and go, you know, it could just be 15. But there was also the fact that Percy Harvin came in and took that number. And so maybe that had something to do. I don't even know that had something to do with it, but I was like, well, someone else had the number immediately after, so that might have been why I switched. And so I just said 11.
All right,
I lost you at the magnetized part.
I know. I got real confused. You had me all over the
I was
place.
sitting here like, which one? I couldn't see 17 or is that 18 or 10, whatever. I was like,
Yeah, 17, 10, 11, and 15. Oh, man.
11
Yeah,
felt
usually
right,
I could follow your logic. That time I'm with Bill. As soon as you said after magnetic, you lost me at magnetic. But Steezy, how about you, man? Do you remember him and wearing an 11? I sure don't.
No, I don't, because I didn't even go with 11. I almost fell for 15, but then at the last second, I was just like, I know it's bait. I'm not going to just willingly fall for it. So just to pick a number aside from 15, I went with 17, and I was 6 off.
All right, Paul Gallant.
I was between 10 and 11, and I guessed 10. So.
You were in Texas at the time. Is this during your Texas days?
Yeah, I was, I believe. I also remember Jermaine Kearse more so for number 15 in college because against Syracuse, he murdered Syracuse, if I'm not mistaken, on several occasions, including, I believe, my first day in college. It was a Friday night game, and Greg Robinson was head coach, and Yeah, Syracuse was bad.
Oh man, Huskies, baby. Coach Marsh.
I am kind of stunned that the younger crew doesn't know why he had to wear number 11.
And
I got it correct, but there's a reason why. Well, because somebody else was obviously wearing number 15.
Yeah, I know who that
didn't
was.
Wear number 15 after that.
Anybody know who was wearing 15?
You guys know?
I know.
He
I should have applied that logic.
He couldn't wear number 15. He couldn't wear number 15 because somebody else was wearing it, and then he got to wear number 15 because 15 turned into another number.
You guys remember?
Wait, he came in 2010 or 2011?
I hope that's a rhetorical question. You're the draft guy, Steezy.
But he was undrafted.
Was it?
Who did he play with? I mean, it's not like we had 20,000 other receivers.
Dougie B? Wasn't it? Like, was Dougie B the one?
He was. That's the right answer.
Yeah.
Doug Baldwin was 15 before he became 89.
That's right. Okay.
I'm actually working on a best. Who's the best athlete to wear every single number? If they just wore it for one day, for one play, for one game.
I don't remember though. Was Curse undrafted? That I don't remember.
He was.
I think he was. Yeah.
Because I know Baldwin was.
Curse was undrafted. Baldwin was undrafted, but it wasn't since Baldwin was on special teams that I've seen him in that number. Like, it's been a while.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy? We went to the Super Bowl with two undrafted receivers. The two receivers scoring touchdowns, undrafted. Crazy. Mike Lorrain, I haven't forgotten about you, man. Did you get this one right?
Oh, he did.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did, Mike. He did forget about you.
The creative writing part of this test is coming up, right?
Luckily for you, no.
It's once again my multiple choice dilemma. I looked at the picture of him as a Husky with number 15. I thought, okay, that's probably bait. But then again, maybe they want me to think it's bait. Because if I think it's bait, then it's really that answer. And so I went with 15, thinking I was overthinking it. And of course, I blew it again. So
well, you went with what most of the people on YouTube went with as well. A lot of people fell for the trap.
That sounded like what Squabble would have said. Mike, what you just said is how Squabble usually answers, but he went with this magnetic answer that kind of threw us off.
Usually Squabble makes sense. So Mike made sense when he said that. Squabble, I don't know what he was talking about in that time, but that's a rare case. All right, let's go to the leaderboard. See what's Cameron Hughes and NORBFAM Nation just battling back and forth. Cameron Hughes back on top with a slim 127-point lead. NORBFAM Nation in second. Not About Doc in third. Archan in fourth. CRK in fifth. And, tough round. 3 players lost their 3-streak answer. Okay, so now we get to the fun part where it's now double points. So everything is worth double from this point on. True or false, just get things started. NorbCam lives in the city of Seattle. True or false? Throw you a hard one there. NorbCam lives in the city of Seattle. True or false?
A little bit of a trick question here.
NorbCam lives in the city of Seattle. True or false? Double points on this one, so every point counts extra. Time is up. Well, closer than I would have expected, but the majority got the correct answer. It's false.
Hey, Norb, before you go around, Norb, were you the kid that would go up to the teacher after a quiz or something and stand there and question the test or question I should have got a higher score? Because this question's a little bit this was a little misleading. I feel like I want to be Norb on this one. I feel like everybody in the class should get this correct, no matter what they put.
First of all, I was not that person who went up to the test. I was too shy to go up to the teacher and talk about tests and stuff. Besides, I was always getting 97s, 98s. I didn't need to talk to him.
That's right.
I just turned it in and say I'm good. No, but why is this misleading? It's not misleading.
Yeah,
I did change the question. I should say I did change the question. I did change the question because the original question he said is NorbCam lives in Washington. I thought that's too easy, so I changed it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's obvious for the local people. I'm battling for those who might be battling for the top few spots here because I think, of course, he's in Seattle from Seattle. Again, this doesn't be the category of who cares to me. I think it's just funny the way it's put. Because you are Seattle.
Well, no.
It was
technically.
Magnetic. Sorry, I was feeling something magnetic.
All right, let's go through the answer. Squabbo.
Hey, don't bring up my magnetism. That got me the right answer. I've been to your house a couple times, so I knew the answer was false.
Okay, see, some are misleading, but Squabo's got first-hand knowledge. Steezy.
While I haven't been there just yet, I also have first-hand knowledge, I'd like to think, and it does ask or say the city of Seattle, and so
There you go.
That's what kind of gave it away for me. But I said false.
All right. Paul Gallant. You don't know anything about where I live. I don't know if you've ever talked about it, but does he know, or did he get lucky?
I think we touched on it because we were talking about volleyball traveling, and I said false. It sounded, and this is a guess, but it sounded like you had long drives, so I wasn't 100% sure because we were scheduling something and you had to go to a volleyball match.
Yeah, okay, very perceptive, very good. All right, man, we got a four-way tie at first place with 7 points each, but Coach Marsh could bust that. Coach Marsh has known me almost as long as Mike. I'd be very disappointed if he didn't know this answer. So, Coach, what do you have to say?
Given that all your filming is down at Seahawks Stadium, you go to the Seahawks car wash in Seattle, all those things. I wanted to say true because I feel like you're always in Seattle, but I do know that it is false.
All right, so that would be correct. So Coach Marsh takes a sizable lead, 2-point lead, all alone in first with 9 points. But Mike could finally, maybe, get a right answer here. Does he?
Or go ahead and give me a 4.
Yes, Mike finally gets another question. The key to getting Mike correct answers is just make sure I don't ask any football questions. All right, so Coach Marsh in first, Squabo and Steezy and Paul tied with 7 in second place, and Mike in fourth.
Jimi Hendrix is the... Yeah. I mean,
Jimi Hendrix is buried in a cemetery here in Renton. That is correct. That is correct. Well, quick. Anthony D with the super chat says, "Hey Norb, hope you're doing okay. FYI, probably not going to Seattle for my birthday because it's expensive. Plus, can you help me on the lyrics for the prediction music video for my part?" And Freddie from School of Rock died. Freddie from School of Rock died. School of Rock.
Is that from the movie? The movie School of Rock?
I didn't watch School of Rock.
Or the music?
Is that breaking news? What's going on? I'll have to look that up. I'm not familiar with School of Rock. But anyway, Anthony D, thanks for the super chat. I appreciate it, man. All right, let's go on to the next question. But first, we got to see the leaderboard. Almost to the end here. 2 more questions to go. Cameron Hughes still on top. NORBFAM Nation right on his tail. Not a bot in third. Jay goes up to fourth, and Rain City up to fifth. And Go Pack Go is the highest climber trying to get into the top 5. But it's going to come down, looks like, between Cameron Hughes and NORBFAM Nation. They've been 1 and 2 all day long. Here we go. Next question. Multiple choice, worth double. What was the Seahawks' first pick in the 1995 draft? J.J. Stokes, Joey Galloway, Kerry Collins, or Christian Fourier? What was the Seahawks' first pick in the 1995 draft? J.J. Stokes, Joey Galloway, Kerry Collins, or Christian Fourier? Time is up. Joey Galloway. If you got that answer, you would be correct. Only 2 of you on YouTube got that one correct. Let's go to Squabo.
My logic got me to 2 players, Joey Galloway and Christian Fourier. I know who Joey Galloway is. I've seen him in the record books, which is why I picked Christian Fourier.
Oh, no. Oh, you got it down to 2 players who definitely were of that time frame. They definitely were playing for the Seahawks in the 90s, but oh, man, talked himself out of it. So we go to Steezy. Chance to tie Coach Marsh.
Yeah, I was down to 2 guys. I was thinking Kerry Collins and Joey Galloway. But Kerry Collins, I don't know if he was drafted high enough, or at least not in the first round, so I ended up going with Joey Galloway.
Ooh, so Steezy with the double point score ties Coach Marsh for the time being. Let's go to Paul Gallant.
I went back through not too long ago the first round picks that the Seahawks made, and I knew that Joey Galloway was a first round pick. I knew the other guys, at the very least, Kerry Collins did not go to the Seahawks. Christian Fourier, I think, went later on in the draft, and so
tight end.
I went with Galloway.
All right, so we have a 3-way tie for first with 9 points apiece, but Coach Marsh could bust out here and make it almost his own game here. But what say you, Coach Marsh?
Well, because tough because when we go to the prehistoric time period, I usually get these right. And so on this one, I narrowed it. I had it down to 1, and it was the 1, Joey Galloway.
So you got it.
Yeah. I was playing off the other guys I narrowed it down to 2. I narrowed it down to 1 right away, and it was Joey Galloway.
Okay, all right. Okay, well,
Love
right
Joey
now,
Galloway.
the front runner, Coach Marsh, Mike Lorrain, back to football. Did you finally?
Come on, Mike.
I would like to request that we have a rematch with 80s trivia and video game questions, so then you can truly find out if I really do suck or not. Because
Like grab a Rubik's Cube. And
I got it wrong.
Like I said, the perfect trivia question for Mike Lorrain is anything that has nothing to do with football in here. So, all right. So Mike is stuck there with 4. Coach Marsh in the lead. 2-way tie, Paul and Steezy and Squabo in third. So it's still the top position. Could go anywhere. So let's find out. In the leaderboard first. Wow, everybody's locked in place. Cameron Hughes, NORBFAM Nation, Not About Doc, Jay, and Rain City, all staying in their respective positions with 1 question to go. Here we go. Final question. Worth double, of course. What Little League football team did Norb play for in 1981? Was it the Renton Junior Riders, the Benson Bruins, the Talbot Hill Tigers, or the Kent Ridge Chargers? What Little League football team did I play for in 1981? The Renton Junior Riders, the Benson Bruins, the Talbot Hill Tigers, or Kent Ridge Chargers? Time is up. Oh, by the narrowest of margins, Talbot Hill Tigers. And you two got the answers, but let's go to the panel in a tight race. First of all, Squabo with a chance to at least tie for second. What's Squabo say? What Squabo says.
Squabo got distracted and didn't get his answer in on time.
Okay.
So I lost anyways. Like I didn't know. I know it wasn't the Kent Ridge Chargers, but that was it.
Okay, well, I know you know Kent Ridge. All right, so we go to Steezy with a chance to tie for the lead. Steezy.
Well, I think we've had this one multiple times, and I tried not to make the same mistake, not only once but twice. And so I've got it wrong before, and I wasn't going to get it wrong this time around. I said the Tigers.
All right, we have had this before in some form or another. So Steezy ties with Coach Marsh for now. Paul Gallant with a chance to join that group at the top with no basis of reference at all here. What do you got?
When you came on Getting to Know Seahawks Twitter, I remember we talked about you playing in the Kingdom, and I couldn't remember the team name. I was going back and forth between Kent Ridge and the 2 on the bottom, and so I picked Kent Ridge. So
you're down to 50-50 and didn't get it. If you had known your local Kent high schools, you'd know the Kent Ridge Chargers is a high school. My daughter goes there, and my other daughter will go there next year. But yes, Kent Ridge High School.
My alma mater.
High school.
He played at their rival, who's a lot better. Kent Meridian. He played
my alma mater, Kent Meridian. So, all right. So Paul does not get to the tie for first. That means Coach Marsh could win it outright right here. Let's see what Coach Marsh has to say.
Yeah, so I'm gonna kind of wrap up the way that we started just before the show began, and that's with there's no better music to play when Norb is playing in a youth football game than listening to Remember the Titans when he's getting the ball in a Talbot Hill Tigers football game in 1981.
There it is, Coach Marsh with the win with that question. 13 points. Wow, Coach, you rocked it today, man. Very well done. You only missed like what, 1 or 2?
I missed one. I missed
question.
One. I got dressed for success more. Usually I'm dressed up like the coach.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Place. I need Mike to come show up.
I should have started with Mike first. It's kind of anticlimactic, but Mike, you know me, but I don't know if you know me as well in this regard. Do you? I don't know if we ever talked about this story.
I knew you played football in the Kingdom, and I knew that they had a play called the Norbert play, literally designed for you. And I knew you scored a touchdown off that play. I knew your dad filmed your games, but I did not know the name of your team. And so I went with Kent Ridge because I knew you grew up in Kent. But sadly, I got it wrong. So, not that if I'd gotten it right, it would have mattered. So, I don't feel too bad. But.
I'm disappointed anyway, though. You should know me by now. But got more things to work on. All right. So congratulations to Coach Marsh for winning the trivia with only one answer wrong. Steezy in second with 11 points. Paul in his first trivia, not bad. 9 points there. In third place, Squabo in fourth. A little low for his usual average, but, everybody has an off day, but that's okay. You got your nice girlfriend to take care of you, and you can share your sorrows with her. And then Mike Lorrain, 4 points. We'll do an 80s trivia for him next time, and he can come out on top.
All right.
All right, let's go to the leaderboard. Let's show you how things finally shook up. Who got the win? In third place with 7 out of 12. NORBFAM Nation in third. Hold on a second. In second, 8 out of 12 is Cameron Hughes. What? Who's going to be in first? Would be J-Lo. Not a bot Doc! From out of nowhere, not a bot Doc. Jay and Rain City, the runners up, but not a bot Doc. I can't believe it. Not a bot Doc was hanging in third the whole time. And suddenly Cameron Hughes and NORBFAM Nation dropped from the top, and it's not a bot Doc. Unbelievable. What a comeback. Congratulations, not a bot Doc. Send me a screenshot of your win there, whoever you are, not a bot Doc, or you can put it in the text and see let's find out who it is. But anyway, that was a lot of fun. Thank you, Sky-High Aviation, for the trivia. That was a very challenging one, so appreciate you putting that together for us. So that is the end of the show. So I just wanted to, again, thank all of our guests here, and I'm going to give everybody a chance to just shout out a little bit of what they got going in case they want to promote anything that they have. So let's start with Steezy A. Smith. Why don't you tell them what you got going on, Steez?
So real quick, Coach, I forgot the quote, but if you want to succeed as bad as you want to breathe, then you'll be successful. That was the reference I was trying to make earlier. At least I was trying to address your reference.
Yeah.
And then just for the record,
that's him.
Right. It's my favorite speech of all time. I can listen to it hours on end. But just for the record, I mean, for whatever it's worth, the two people that I'd want to bring alongside Eric Thomas, just The Rock for protection, security, fitness. And then my third person would be Ariana Grande. Because then, I mean, if we're stuck on an island together, who knows what will happen. So those two people, along with Eric Thomas, and then
the Rock will squash you. That's what's going to happen before you get to Ariana Grande.
And Ariana just got married, but then that would leave her new husband off of the island. Like you said, all bets are off when you're on a deserted island, right?
She's going to make a great lunch.
But so yeah, I just want to put those things on the record.
I like it.
Just want to thank everybody that's been tuned in. If you guys haven't already, or if you aren't already, hit that subscribe button for Norb. Show him some love, man. He puts in so much work, as with everybody else on here. So if you guys aren't already, Squabo says Coach for Life. At Gallant says on social media. Everybody really, and then Mike Lorrain. Really nice to meet you, sir. But this was a great show. I had a great time. I had a blast. Last but not least, then you can find me specifically or primarily on YouTube at Steezy A. Smith. Been dropping videos like crazy the last couple of weeks. I've been covering all the guys that we've drafted. Just dropped a video the other day about Terrell Taylor and how he could be the key for us having the best pass rush in the NFL. Just yesterday, I dropped why the LA Chargers should trade for Julio Jones. So if you guys, if that sounds interesting to y'all, definitely go check that out. Tap in. But yeah, thanks so much.
All right. Let's go to Paul at Gallant Says. Paul, let everybody know. Most of everybody who follows sports in Seattle knows who you are, but a lot of people watching the show don't know, maybe not be from Seattle. So tell them where they can find you.
Well, if you like listening to AM radio in the greater Seattle area, yeah, I'm on the mornings 7 Pacific to 11 Pacific. Danny and Gallant 7 to 10 and 10 to 11. It's just me, blabbing by myself. Yeah, and you can listen basically if you download the 710 ESPN Seattle app to those shows. We've got podcasts and such. If you're more of a podcast person, search the Paul Gallant Show or search Danny and Gallant. YouTube.com/Paul Gallant. Seattle Sports Paul, PAWL. I'm probably going to change the handle because that's a little bit of a difficult spelling for everybody. Guys, it has been an absolute pleasure to hang out with y'all again. I hope that we get to do this very soon. And thank you very much, everybody who tuned in. This has been a lot of fun.
All right, Paul, and I appreciate you carving out some time out of your day to do this, especially on short notice and everything. So I love the fact that you jumped on here, man. Really appreciate it. Let's go to Squabo. Squabo says, over there in the Palouse, tell me what's going on, man, besides your sprained ankle.
Wow. It feels great to be, doing the show with all you guys, of course. With guys like Seahawks Martin and Nick LeBeau and Rain, like, it's always fun learning from them, but it's also fun to be the baby sometimes. And so, like, I'm enjoying that. I'm sure Steezy's enjoying it. We're the young bulls here. Paul's enjoying it. So it just feels good. It feels good. Great to learn from our elders a little bit.
Elder Scrolls.
AARP.
Yeah. So for those of you who are NBA fans, definitely go subscribe to Steezy A. Smith. But then I'm doing watch parties throughout the entire playoffs. I'm following the Lakers' journey. I'm a huge Laker fan, so I'm following the Lakers' journey throughout the playoffs. If we get eliminated in 5 games against Utah, that's where my Laker journey will end. But I will still keep following teams, some of the biggest matchups in the playoffs moving forward. So definitely tune into my channel for that. @Squabble Says on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok now, as well as YouTube.
All right. Squabble, to check them out. Again, everybody's links are in the description, so you can, if you didn't catch it here verbally, you can go to the description of the video and find their links right there. Let's go to Mike Lorrain, my business partner and friend of many years, but first time on the Roundtable. Mike, you could tell them about your gaming channel, 5 Minute Gaming with Mike. Tell them a little bit about what they might expect to see there. I imagine probably a little bit of 80s, but I could be wrong.
Sure. First of all, Norb, I'd just like to thank you for calling me today and asking me to join. And Squabo, Steezy, Paul, and Bill, it was a pleasure to share the screen with all of you. I've listened to you many times when you've done the shows with Norb, and it was a treat to be here with you doing my part, especially in the trivia. So I have a YouTube channel called 5 Minute Gaming with Mike, and all you have to do is go to Google, search 5 Minute Gaming with Mike, and it should come right up. It podcasts as well, easy to find. I review video games from old and new and talk about the history, play them a little bit, try to keep the shows around 5 minutes, 5 to 10 roughly. I have guests, so go check that out, and please subscribe. I could use some more subscribers. It would be much appreciated. Otherwise, Norb and I are also working on a new channel, which we will share with you when the time is right.
Yep.
There you go.
That's right.
Hint drop.
All right. And don't forget, you have those pinball machines behind you. You also do pinball machines on your channel besides video games. So this guy's a pinball fanatic. He's got a whole basement full of pinball machines. So it's pretty darn cool if you ever get to see his house one of these days. All right. Last but certainly not least, because I don't want to get told I forgot all about you, and I kept you here like 30 minutes past the time you were supposed to be out of here.
I'll sprint out. No problem.
So Coach Marsh, Coach Marsh of Coach's Corner on my show, but Coach for Life, tell everybody about your channel.
Hey, and just know I feel the same about all you guys, but I want to keep that part brief. So just know that the love is there, but I want to share. I need to share these couple other things. First off, with regards to shows, finally kind of jumping off the cliff into the water to do it. So this Saturday and Sunday, 2 new live shows. I'm actually going to be making it happen. So the first one Saturday morning will be a lead-in to Squabo's. So if you watch my live stream, it'll cut off before Squabble so that he can do his weekly show as well, and that's a Football 501. So if you look at Football 101, you only see a few old ones, but you're going to see Football 501 prerequisite Pre-Storhawk. I've already got 18 different former Seahawks lined up to do some interviews with, but also be a lot of interaction, ask questions. I'll illustrate stuff. So I'm going to give you 27 years worth of football knowledge. But also banter around some other things. So again, that'll be Football 501 prerequisite Pre-Storhawk Sunday evenings. So that's 8:30 a.m. Sunday evenings, 7 to 8 p.m. is a show I'm calling Takes a Lotta. As in the old days, Squabble, I had a friend that used to say, "Man, I had a lot of beer and I had a lot of this." And I was like, "Yeah, I like a lot of." This is gonna be it takes a lot of something, and we're gonna be predicting the week that is. Not talking about the week that was, but talking about all sorts of things in life and everything else about what do we think's coming up? So I'll have guests on that, be live and interactive. And then I have my Saturday night with the youth roundtable. We're doing a quarterback challenge thing this Saturday night. So some really neat things, as well as a thing I'm doing with my son who produces music called Papa San's Papa San, where we're going to be sitting in a couple Papa San chairs in front of our green screen, playing a couple video games and going live on that. So, man, Norb, you've changed my world. My goal is that I'm challenging, not challenging you. My goal is that each of us get to 100K within the next 12 to 15 months of subscribers. So I'm going to help lift you, you lift me, and together we're going to lift the other guys, and we're all going to end up on that island doing our thing. That said, I got to switch gears really fast because I talk about life and living life one play at a time. Earlier this morning, I got news that my son's a senior football player, obviously plays football. Kid hit a pole, called his friend, and by the time the friend got there, the kid had died, senior member of my son's football team. So, we have fun, we have a blast. And as you guys know, I lost a player in 2004 who died in a car accident on his way to the game. So it brought back a lot of those memories and things like that. So, and we've all had our moment, I think, on this show where we've talked about fragility and obviously the pandemic and everything else. But man, you get those things that take place and it reminds you like, dude, we're talking about Russell Wilson and we're getting animated and all that, but it's still life, right? Like we've got to love each other up. We're getting back out of this pandemic and seeing people. So, man, I love you guys, and don't be afraid to say it to your family. And it's not one of those hug them close, type of deals. Like hug them all the time, love them all the time, love people up all the time. Don't let these bad things that take place remind us of that, because there's a family that's hurting. So I just felt like I needed to bring it up because it meant so much to me, and it's very obviously hit my family pretty hard, hit my son pretty hard. But when it's a kid in anywhere, 18-year-old senior is about to graduate now, he's passed away. So anyway. I think, and this is where we talk about the 12s, right? Like just the compassion that the 12s have and the people in this area, you get it anywhere. I just think there's something about this area that like people really step up for others. And I've already felt it today from people I don't even know because of this area. So it's a tough time, special time, but yeah. So like I said, live life one play at a time. I mean it when I say it. And that's why I decided to really launch out and do these shows. I was going to wait another week. And when I heard that, I'm like, no, man, I got to do this. It's because of you guys that made me want to do it. But this was kind of like, man, I got to do it for my son and everybody else. So thanks for everything, man. I love you guys, and I love the fans out there. Love the 12s. Have an awesome night.
All right.
Much love, Coach.
Yeah, sorry to hear that, Coach. That's always tough. And, I think about my own daughter who's just got her license, and, we have yet to get her own car and stuff like that. So we're still kind of driving together. But I think about the day when I have to hand her the keys and go, be careful, and just watch her drive by herself off into the who knows where. It's going to be a scary day when that happens. It hasn't happened yet, but it's going to be soon. So, like I said, you got to appreciate every day that we got. So I appreciate you guys. I appreciate our guests here, Steezy, Paul, Squavo, Mike, Coach Marsh. Thank you for making the time. I really do. I know that we're all busy, so to take a couple hours out of your day to do this is a real treat for me. And for everybody who's watching, too, you guys watching at home who are playing the game and chatting and submitting your questions, thank you so much for your being part of this. So... let's go out and enjoy. Seize the day. Make the most of your day. And like you said, hug your friends, hug your family. Carpe diem, because you never know how many more you got left. So let's make the most of the ones we got. So thank you, guys, everybody, for being here. And we will talk to you next time. Go Hawks.